شباب راحت علي نومة، اسمعوني انا حاطة منبه على الساعة 8، والله العلي العظيم حاطط على الساعة 8. خلنا نشوف الساعة 8 هذا اي يوم اي تصدق انه حق كل يوم بس ما شكلي طفيته. والله شكلي لا حاطط الساعة 8 الصبح. ناسية شباب، ناسية انه مؤقت حقي ميليتري، شفت رقم 8 قلت بس هذا الساعة 8 حطيه. يا طيب اول شيء السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اهلا دب، اهلا اكزا، اهلا رول، اهلا دب، اهلا اكزا، اهلا رول، اهلا براء، اهلا جاي بوي، اهلا نواف، اهلا براء، اهلا جاي بوي. انا والله شباب وش مبهات، اقسم بالله اني لسن انا حاطت لكم مؤقت بالانستغرام انه الساعة 8 بيصير في ليش، اوكي. وللاسف الشديد صارت الساعة 8 ما في بث. الساعة 8 يعني تشاخر على السرير نايمة. حطي بال 12 ساعة، اي لا عشان يجيب العيد، انا جبت العيد وهو مو ب 12 ساعة، شلون لو انه 12 ساعة؟ لحظة خلينا ننزل بالانستغرام. والله عيني مفقع نوم، مفقع نوم. لا خلاص. If the party was over. نحط وجه. الأغنية دي ناشفة براسي لها 4 أيام، والله لو ما تطلع من مخي أبى أحفر مخي بدريل. شو أخباركم شباب؟ كيف كان يومكم؟ كيف كانت الدنيا؟ الحمد لله الصراحة، الصدق شكرا إن بطولة تويست ما بعد بدت، وضاق صدري إنهم أمس خسروا، مرة ضاق صدري. شكلكم من تمرين النوم تصحين فجأة تعرفي إن في شي نسيته. إيه ولا تخيلوا إني نايمة. طيب إني نايمة في أمان الله، بعدين جو صحوني، فلانة قومي. الساعة كم؟ المشكلة توني نايمة تخيلوا. وضعيتي لي أكيد الساعة 7 أكيد، ما بعد يعني لو هذا بيشغل منبه. عصبت، قمت ضغطت الجوال. عليكم السلام، هلا الفيديو وعليكم التستريم. ضغطت الجوال اناظر الساعة 8:30. والله والله ليه 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 تأخرنا ليه؟ شو الحين انا قاعدة بس صدق الحين خسروا خلاص، طلعوا تويستد، ما في مجال يروحون لنكست. نشوف هذه بكرة ان شاء الله راح نتفرجها. هذه تويستد مايندز اركيد اور اركيد، اي اركيد. ضجي 2 ان شاء الله انهم بكرة يكونون مصحصحين. الا يمدي تستهبل دب، حرفيا ركضت اعطيتهم شهقة، ركضت من السرير تلفون وضعت كذا، رحت للبي سي، شغلت الكمبيوتر، شغلت كذا، فتحت الويب سايتات، شغلت او بي اس، بين شغلت البث حق فالورانت. يوم نظرت انه ما بعد بدا حق تويستد، قلت ايه، خليت الجهاز يعني مخمخ بالصحصحة. انا رجعت كذا استنت على السرير، سدحت بس بعدين رجعت لكم مرة ثانية. أشوى يعني الحين لازم نتحمس، لأن أمس شباب بعد البطولة، الحين البطولة اللي بعد شوي لازم نشوف بطولة أمس. أنا ما شفتها، أنتم شفتوها، أنا ما شفتها. أبغى أشوف كيف إكزت ملي التويتر حقي. I wanna feel proud okay. ابغى احس اوكي كان بتكمل شوط ثاني. ايه شوي مرة فيني نوم، بس ما عليك، لا مزازة مالك، مزازة ابغى اشوف.
We have another team that have managed to make it all the way to the Ascension match that is coming up on the weekend. Of course, it will be Dynasty. Massive congratulations to you boys. I've got Mini back here.
هذول يكثرون، هذول كل يوم يكثرون اللي ورا.
Now, first of all, we had Sparker on the couch earlier. He was very proud of you.
He's very proud. حبة رد بالله انتي، لا إن شاء الله ما يحتاج. هذاك اللي تمر.
So what was it like? You know, what's it been like?
Tamar is my strength of power.
You were doing today as well.
I mean, honestly, like overall, our experience was like, awesome. You know, like everything is so fun.
Tamar is my power of strength.
It's normal, I guess, but whenever we play like at our full potential,
Tamar is my.
That's it. You saw how we played. That's how we should always play. You know.
Source of
I was a bit
strength.
worried after map 1 though.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Map 1, like what happened? You know, what was going on?
Yeah, map 1 we had some blunders. We felt like we kind of choked a little bit. But yeah, I'm just happy about how we were able to recover.
In the beginning
The next 2 matches.
ناقص لبن. اصفر بلح مدري ايش يسمونه، اهم شيء يكون لا لحظة. اول شيء البرحي مرة حلو. اوكي.
Yesterday we didn't see as much of that.
ما ادري البلح. اوكي. مرة احبه. ثاني شيء لا
reclearing information and kind of pushing out and stuff.
قاعدة اكل تمر محشي.
Setting people on lines and then like moving here, being ready for retakes, floods. Like I tried to.
لحظة، في أحد من الكيك قال السلام عليكم بس ما أقدر أقرأ، ممكن ترسل مرة ثانية؟
Playing at your best, do you think that is a difference maker?
Yeah, I think I
Turkey.
get my most individual impact doing that.
Okay.
But like if the team needs someone else, for example, to be a bit more dynamic, like you say, then
هذه بصينية تفوز معي.
hold my position, play ankle rolls. Like I'm
أغرف
just doing whatever needs to be done for the team.
You mentioned
إذا ما كان سكري معك، لا اللي معي سكري. سكري محشي مرة يومي.
Yes, absolutely.
What on earth happened yesterday and how do you recover from that in the back of your head?
لا والله ترى شوف البرحي ترى مو بكل اللي يجيبه لذيذ. أنا أموت في البرحي وأحبه وأعشقه وإذا فكيت ما حصلت. إذا رحت بيت خالتي تجيب نوع برحي. يا ساتر تعرفون من كثر. أوكي مو صح، البرحي من فوق يخلون الراس حقه تقدرون تفكونه بأظافيركم. تخيلوا أصلا مرحلة أجرح تحت أظافيري من كثر ما أفك مرة يعني. By the way, the fam is watching. Mom says hi. Hi mom, Dibs mom. هلا والله بخالتي، شو أخبارك؟ حلو كيف الدنيا؟ علميني إذا دب اليوم سوى حركات كيني ميني عق، ما جاب لبن ما جاب زبادي، علميني أعطيه تايم اوت. هنا ندعم.
I mean, he won the round anyway, but I think it was more so him playing it wrong. Maybe I could have played a bit more faster, I guess, to stop, to make it more, have more time to defuse.
We got a lot of good recon players, I think, in this tournament in general. I think Minnie, you were talking about the level of.
مدني تعرفين حركات المدينة يحشون كاجو يحطونها مع الزبادي ودقة المديني. ما في برمن. الله يحفظه لك يا رب. يشله مرة كيوت. دب علمني موجه مسدس على راس امك ولا علمني ها؟
Like some Hall of Fame names, so it's I'm not there yet, you know.
يا خالة إذا أنت تحت التهديد اغمزي لنا 5 مرات.
Before labeling myself like that, you know, and then yeah.
Do you think you're the best here? Oh yeah, we have this graphic up here.
Yeah. Although,
look,
can we have
can
we actually have the real? Okay, this is what we have.
الله يحفظكم البعض جميعا، الله يسعدكم يا رب يطول بعماركم.
Can you give us more Odin?
عليكم السلام أنا عبد الله. وأنا قاعدين يدورون الزلة.
He's on form. He's on form. Like.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. So what?
تكون لعبة بلالين.
The only thing that you're not.
Yeah, I mean Enzo can have that one.
تعشى وارجع لكم يلا بالعافية.
Enzo can have that one. Like when we prac against him and stuff, and he's doing.
كيفك يا نيو؟ الحمد لله بخير. انت كيفك يا عبد الله؟ ماشي عبد الله، اخر يومين انت مو بجايز لي. ايش فيك زعلان؟ مين ضايق صدق؟
They thought it was gonna be you guys. We had them yesterday. They wanted to play you. They were quite. Rose is looking at me like he didn't say that. It wasn't him. It was the three at the back. The Loiter, Larocque and Lovers. They were very confident that it was gonna be you that they play against. How would you like to respond to that? And also, what do you think about going up against them?
Thank you for supporting us, guys.
I don't think it was that. It wasn't that.
I then said if it was you guys, I think it'd be a close game.
They were really offended.
سويت لك؟ لا أنا أقول أنت مو عاجبني. ماشي يعني مين ضايق صدرك؟ ليش ضايق صدرك؟ Why are you being so calm? So
with like a new team and stuff like that.
You know?
I mean, in a way, everyone else kind of expected us to beat them.
يعني يا مغربي اسمعني يعني this is the way, this is my way saying I care about you. Tell me what is shitting on your head.
They've got a lot of talent in their team and
tell me so I can kick their asses. Tell me. Point at them. I'm gonna all of them, you know? Like
but I mean when you get on stage, because you're gonna be over there, you're gonna see them, you're gonna have a chance to actually. Because I know they're gonna give it. I can see them now.
أرسلت على انستغرام ما تردين.
They're gonna be screaming at you.
شباب بالله كل واحد أرسل لي على انستغرام ما رديت عليه يكتب نقطة في الشات.
So you're ready for the.
Yeah, I'm ready.
مرة كثيرين ترى اللي يرسلون بالانستغرام ما رد عليهم.
It's gonna be a fun game.
It's okay. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah, I know.
I think I would like you to do. I mean, the amount of times we've had people rip that Navira, Boaster, you know, that it happens a lot.
طمنت عليك ما رديتي متى وصار؟ وش أنا مجروحة؟
Of course, the winner of this will play off too, going onto the stage. So Twisted Minds versus Mandatory. What are you guys feeling about this one? Is there one that you think should be favored at all?
I think Twisted Minds, they play really well. We've played them quite a bit since we arrived. And Exit is looking really good, like especially yesterday. And also they're on 0 ping, which is a big difference. Like it's a different game, you know. And I think it's helping them more than it's not.
And Mini is a rematch, so we have seen this already in this tournament.
I think with rematches there is a bit of a curse. Like I think that it will favor Mandatory because
the team that loses,
the team that loses usually.
عبد الله.
And I'm not sure exactly why, but I think the.
بس أمس ما سويت بث قبل أمس أنا مسوية بث.
Can we get a show of hands? We got a whole room full of pro players. So do you agree with Mini when you have a rematch, the team that loses the first time will win the second time?
أنت عشان كبارات والله يعينك والله.
Do you agree? Oh, nobody agrees with you.
الله يعينك يا رب.
The other way around, they wouldn't put their hands up.
What do you mean?
They just don't want to put their hands up.
Oh, come on. Do you understand the question? Do we understand the question? Oh, someone. Lovers Rock, you tell them what the question was. He's gonna translate. Do you two agree? If you lose the first time, you win. I said
not you're gonna. You're more likely.
You're more likely. Okay. Do you agree?
It depends, obviously, but I do agree. Honestly, I actually.
Put your hand up then.
But he still thinks the Twisted Minds are gonna win, though.
Wait.
I think.
Did someone put their hand
Creven.
up? Oh, Loiter, that's your boy. And Rose. Yeah, and Creven as well. Okay, there's some of your boys agree with you. Yeah. They got your back. Sorry, I interrupted you. So why do you think that could be the case? Why could it be the case of the team that loses the first time that could?
شيء أنا ما فهمته.
Because like.
ليش جنيرو طلعت؟
They're gonna have a lot more like passion and there's like a revenge story to it, you know. So in that sense, I think it favors that team a little bit more. But honestly, it just depends because if you're like a level above these teams, you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to play your game and you know that you're gonna beat them because you literally did before, you know. And that's it.
Honestly, for me, looking at Mandatory, they have the players that.
ليش جنيرو أو whatever her name, the cutie girl. اللي كانت بدل هذه كانت موجودة الأيام اللي فاتت كانت هي الهوست هنا.
maybe I agree with you, but in the end of the day, even
صراحة
yesterday, you
جاوبت
gotta
على
think
هذه.
that Twisted Minds again. They could be sitting there as well. Yeah.
The only thing I'm worried about a little bit is the map veto.
We were saying nice things about you. Sorry, they're walking behind.
The map veto is the only thing I'm worried about. If Twisted Minds get Lotus, which is very possible, they usually just don't lose Lotus. So mandatory, we'll probably have to take it.
I think they switch. Yeah, why did they switch?
If you know you're probably gonna lose a map.
Okay, I bet my done game. I think they're like, I don't know.
I felt like you were.
I think Twisted Mind are gonna win, honestly. Like,
I would say first of all, we did not open all of the VTubing programs, so we
we know how they play, and we saw yesterday how they played against BBL Pacific. Yeah, I think they're on form.
Woo!
I think they will win 2-0.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm confident of them.
Okay, who do you think is the best player on their team? Is it
Yo, 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 yo,
Exit,
yo.
the real deal?
Exit and Sand are so good inside players.
I like that. I do think though. I mean, we've heard some takes about Exit,
Sure.
right? Minnie, we've heard
my team.
say,
لازم we نشجعهم يا
I'm not gonna
عبد الله.
that it was a bit of a life.
من أي خلية أنت؟
And we've heard some people say that he's just that good. And
علمني. أنت ما تشجع
the
تويستد؟
real deal.
ارفع يدك.
Yeah, I mean he did also drop 30, which I think that is a bit of a life map, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still phenomenal.
Yeah, and earlier I forced some of our players to, you know, do something silly, be a little bit hee hee ha ha. So let's take a look at how Hip and Sigray got on. Earlier we pushed Shin and Fanzi to the test, so it's only fair that we get Hip and Sigray involved as well in this. You guys know what you're doing. You gotta use the chopsticks to put the items in the box. Are you confident?
Guys ما في ولا شيء قاعد يشتغل on stream.
You're not confident either?
We can see.
Okay.
Oh
well,
shit.
These are gonna break, so when they break, you can, you know, get another one. So are we ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Of course, the fastest will win. Earlier, you guys saw Shin take home the victory. Oh, Sigray not even hesitating right on the ball. Okay, you two are
لا طقطق استهبل بس لحظة هذا ليش مو قاعد
I feel
يشتغل؟
like we need to do a... Oh my goodness. Okay. He doesn't even need a second attempt, Sigray over there. You've done this before.
No,
You have definitely done this before. This is outrageously good. Oh, here we go. Okay, I was gonna say, this is gonna be some crazy display of techers if he's done this before. Is this harder or is playing Valorant harder?
No, this is harder.
This is harder?
For sure.
What about IGLing? Is this harder than IGLing?
guys ما في ولا overlay قاعد يشتغل on stream.
Okay.
Oh my god.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Okay, we're kind of generational comeback. Is this the mandatory 311? Mandatory 311 on Icebox?
Are we back?
Great comeback there from Hib. I think it was Shin that backed him earlier, who said that he has more experience, so he should win in that game at least. But looking at the actual match that we have here on the server, we're gonna get the map vetoes here. Here we go. Corrode gone, Bind gone. I mean, Minnie, I think you predicted this, Lotus. You were expecting this. We got Abyss, and then Haven. Are the expectations still the same? You still feel it's gonna be Twisted Minds 2-0?
Yeah.
Okay.
2-0.
Abyss is interesting. I think maybe Mandatory could win that, but I still think Twiz will win 2-1.
I think that's good analysis. I think that like Twisted Minds should win Lotus. Pretty straightforward.
فكري!
Map, they are way better than other teams on that map. Abyss is a curveball. Mandatory last time went for Sunset in this matchup rather than Abyss, and so they're just thinking that maybe it's something to just try. Neither team's really play it, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise. But
you eating?
Yeah, in terms of map veto,
I was eating
spot just because of that. This is so secure.
Yeah, and how do you deal with that?
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
We've seen many times at this point. You know, there's gotta be a solution, right?
You have to just pray that Exit isn't doing what he did last time, basically.
Oh, he just doesn't. Don't drop.
شو تمر يا أخوي تمر.
But the comp though, I mean, I feel like you guys might have some insight as well, because coming into this tournament, I think off the back of champs and seeing how some teams are sort of experimenting and how they want to switch things up on Lotus, to come in and just seeing the comp that Mini didn't make, that Anders made on Lotus. Yeah, what's the counter against that? Because that's what we're probably going to see out here as well. What's the counter against the box?
Okay, أول ما Lotus عندنا defending mandatory والattack twisted fine.
Yeah. I mean, if I said the counter, then I'd be.
Okay, what's so good about it? What's so good about this?
It's just like
That
you
tag
have
plays
the pressure.
Killjoy, guess has the sight on
I mean,
lockdown.
Rose-wise, it fits our team, which is nice. But the comp, you have the A pressure, the Viper, you have the Killjoy turret that spots your B push, and it allows you to be slightly more heavier on the other side. And then on defense, you have having the Killjoy is like really helpful because it has 2 indicators.
Hi Zadul.
And
welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Yeah, the mollies obviously help, and
It's a good delay.
it's really good. And then obviously Fade, Raze, and Omen are just very good at taking A.
Life on easy mode.
If you can play the comp well, then probably
Hello,
on
والله
the other
تفكير.
side of it,
حالك.
really. That's a comp we don't see.
Fine,
I
Zadul.
don't like
Thanks
this
for
comp very
that.
much. I thought Mandatory were gonna change it this event because they got caught out on stage 3 losing a couple of times there. I think Twisted Minds, their default on attack side, usually they go 2-2-1, so they're gonna default towards B and C, and they're gonna have no problems getting rid of that deadlock wall and Cypher utility in my opinion, and I think they should be pretty fine on this attack side.
Yeah, who's the pressure on the side of Mandatory?
I think it's on Cypher and Deadlock to make sure that they can hold down those sites, but I don't think it's going to be very easy.
Yeah, I mean, the only, I guess, saving grace is when it comes to prep. You know you're going to play Lotus, right? This is, you can already maybe focus on just making sure that you can play Lotus against Twisted Minds, because it does feel like if Twisted Minds win this, which they probably should, it's going to get a bit dicey. Right? Yeah. It's not going to be a good time. It won't be. But it's a good time for you guys. It's a good time for you guys. I thank you very much for joining us here on the couch. We'll let you guys.
Imagine you have
We're going to bring in 2 people that have only ever casted Enzo.
Anyway, hi Twitch. How's your day?
Yeah, I always need a little bit of emotional support when it comes to days like this. It can be stressful. Casting Enzo, not down on the stage, but he's fighting for a spot there. BO5.
How long till live?
It's we're there already, Tom. They're in. Let's get this one kicked off. A hell of a
ليش ما يلعبون على الستيج؟
Twisted Minds and Mandatory.
إذا الستيج زي كذا وراهم مجهز، ليش ما يلعبون عليه؟
Relaxed. I'm sure they are as well. No stress here whatsoever. Just getting ready into the mansion.
Been playing Ninja Gaiden.
This is Twisted Minds. Had the dub last time out. I do think that obviously with the amount of experience that's on the other side, there's a lot of potential to learn from those mistakes. The worry for me though, we're kicking things off on Lotus, and that map, like we saw it yesterday, it was Exit's home ground.
It absolutely was. He was dominating. We'll see if Mandatory.
Okay, بدأ الجيم. بالله. زي ما قلنا احنا لوننا احمر، احنا اتاكرز نحاول ندخل السايت ونسوي زراعة.
Straight into the C site, big space taken, and it's the man of the hour exit. Already tagged down to 50. No kills to speak of. Mandatory being nice and passive, playing behind those.
Nice, لا مو نايس، لا لا هذا مو حقنا.
Finding the first Enzo.
Nice.
And it looks like a sea of blue in the kill feed. Mandatory making quick work of that pistol. They let Twisted Minds in and then close the door.
Yeah, really solid start from them. I think that throughout the series we might mention at times the double duelists, but it's the 2 at the top, Kellogg's and Takas. If those 2 are on, they have been really hard to play against throughout this tournament so far, and already getting things off with a solid start. Especially looking at that deadlock. It can be an agent that if you haven't had too much practice against, it can be quite difficult to play against. Especially with the more sort of like burst strategy you're going to have. Bear in mind, a lot of what we saw yesterday was the contact plays from Exit. Well, he's trying to make contact here, but he doesn't really have
يا أخي ما نبغى، أنا بوديك النزاهة.
Close out the distance.
Oh, the trip right away is going to give Exit an opening death. Kellogg's in.
قلت لكم Cypher and this map is so OP.
Mandatory. Showing that they've certainly got a good read on where that play was coming through. The double trips are deadly, and it was even the first to find the kill. For Twisted Minds, a 2-0 start. Not the end of the world. A little bit of damage in that previous would have been nice, but this is really where things start to heat up for this squad. Revenge is the name of the game here today for Mandatory. They lost to Twisted Minds, but it was 13-10, 13-11. Incredibly close maps. The big talking point on that desk was Exit. For good reason. Yet to see him get on the board, but with a rifle in hand, this is where things can take a turn for the worse for his opponents.
Well, yeah, on Lotus, when they played last versus BBL Pacific, they lost both sets of pistols, both follow-up rounds, still 113-8. So it wasn't the be-all and end-all, but I will say the style at which Mandatory play this map is incredibly different to what you see from BBL Pacific. You're going to see a lot more of this sort of, well, Odin when it's in play. This isn't quite the Odin just yet. But also up against a deadlock, those contact plays, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult. They come up against plenty of opposition. A slower start and of course a lot of weaker weapons. They're going to eventually make their way back to A.
Now playing that double sentinel now gives so much control to Mandatory. They've got some players ready for the fight towards A. Quick TP out, and Kellogg's has got an opening for free. It's Exit going down. And I can't remember if it was Kellogg's deleting him in the pistol, but definitely in the previous, the opening duel was Kellogg's versus Exit. So that's at least 2 rounds in a row now that the star player of Twisted Minds has been dropped by a man we saw on his feet after a double kill in that pistol. Kellogg's farming up a lot of early momentum, and so him with a chance, but that weapon not going to cut it for Takas though. The Bulldog has a bite. He's able to find a double and put a 4v2 on the board. Twisted Minds running out of options. They found Kellogg's, or maybe Kellogg's has found them. Nice positioning from Jesse though. This is a chance, but
14 seconds.
15 seconds. Yeah, he's got to go quick, and Takas is waiting. Nice round for Mandatory. They come in with a lot of weaknesses there and make it look relatively easy.
Yeah, a huge amount of upgrades as well. Like getting those additional weapons, having the credits on the board early on this defensive side. This is about as good a start as you're ever going to be able to get. And this is where you start to look at Twisted Minds, maybe a bit of pressure coming in, but also just the hard work we know the Mandatory put in behind the scenes.
طفيت البث وشغلتها. لعله
full of experience, but kind of fallen out of there. There's one thing you have to remember: the first round that Twisted Minds got
determined
versus
then
BBL Pacific.
I guess. Thank you so much for the follow. Stream. Thank you. Walaikum salam.
From Exit.
He's on the board. 3 rounds where he's been picked off early. 2 opening deaths in the last 2. Although with the pistols in hand, you can't really blame him.
So far off.
Time to jump.
Now looking to punish onto Kellogg's. Of course, he can always TP right back out of here, and he's sticking around, knowing that he has that 1-shot advantage. Only 1 bullet in the chamber, though, and after using it on the Prowler, he will just bail.
Yeah, I think the second utility starts coming through, that's your moment to retreat.
Thank you so much for asking.
But he hasn't seen anybody push towards that C side of the map, so they are going to rotate all the way in towards A. The trip is going to give the game away, and they will make their way into the site. It's whiffy though. Another for Exit already. The second of the round, that pistol doing damage and real potential for a post plant here.
Exit warming up is a scary thing to see. Mandatory need to recover on this round. This is the chance for a really clean start at Mikey. He's had his moments. But in a lot of maps, you've been left wanting more from him. A 3K's made this doable. With Kellogg's left in a 1v2 with an outlaw in hand. He left it behind for a moment, but he's picked it back up, and 1 shot to either of these players will drop them. He's got a chance, but he doesn't know where they are.
Post plant's going to be difficult to break. Orb already online. Snake bite available as well. And neither player on Twisted Minds planning on budging for a moment. They're going to wait for their opponent to try and bait them in already, but it's not going to be the lineup he was hoping for. Instead, Zemo is the one to land the shot. And in a similar fashion, Twisted Minds break back in a low-buy round.
Yeah, it's a obviously phenomenal spray from Mikey there. That was unbelievable. The first he could barely see, and the transfer over here so quick, but it's not enough. Twisted Minds came in with next to nothing. It's Exit on a sheriff that got them all that space, that brought them onto the site. And we said, you know, he was starting slow, but you always know.
Isolate and exterminate.
After what we saw the other day,
yeah,
that danger is lurking. Still, Mandatory able for a full buy. This is their chance to correct.
اخاف يتوز يقعد يبند لي اوادم صدقيه انا من عقب البثات الثانيات وعقب المواقع انا اخاف.
May end up being integral for Twisted Minds. They have not played Abyss all year, although it was March the last time that Mandatory played it, so neither side really having too many reps, or any reps. It's an open book, but one that Mandatory have decided to gamble on which doesn't necessarily mean it's in their favor, but you have to think they have something planned, and for Twisted Minds, their record on this map speaks for itself. 12-1 over the last few months. Lift shot from Kellogg's. Means he has to back out of there. Bear in mind, they had so much in terms of extra credits here that they have no troubles buying and have an ult online.
This is what he was doing last time, man. It was Lover's Rock just getting shut down by Exit on dry swings. And the same thing happens here. He opens the door. It's a trap set by Kellogg's holding with the operator, and yet he's tagged to 75. He comes back looking for that fight, and he finds it, but it certainly doesn't go his way. With Kellogg's down, the C site looks open for business. And even though there's a trip there, it'll be bypassed, broken, and even if it was caught, following up,
anyone who tries to
dead
share
after
stuff
one again. It will be Exit, and now the showstopper's online with the credits where they're
كيف يعرف إنه مثلا مو شخص صدقي؟
ult active for Takas, and he's found one. It's Sand. Exit down. Okay, it's looking doable for Mandatory on the way back in.
Okay. 1v1. 1v1.
Hips heard the steps. And he has time on his side, enough to play with, enough to push down to close the distance, and the shot.
Oh no!
Mandatory correcting just in time to put 4-1 on the board.
Yeah, an important closeout. A solid ultimate as well. I was a little bit worried when Takas fired that in, that either he'd maybe be caught as the showstopper was activated at the same time, but instead getting the catch with the Annihilation thinned that herd just enough on the way back in. Went back down to a 1v1, a nice attempt from Sikri. And already a timeout being called by the side of Twisted Minds. They're going to know, firstly, how important this map is, but also how important in the past their attack side has been. It's almost always been a victory on this half, and I'm not sure they're going to want to leave it to chance of how they'll do on the defense.
I think especially after those initial punishes from Exit, you get rid of that operator, you get rid of Enzo after just one trade. And now the site, the plant, it all seems secure, but a little bit overwhelmed by the flank. Caught by Takas' ult, there's not much that you can do, but all of the fights falling into the hands of Mandatory in the trade game. And that's all they needed. The timeout early on, but I think it's a good time for it, most certainly. For Twisted Minds, as you said, the importance of this attack side, the importance of Exit for this attack side as well. And on the last 2 rounds, we have seen him show up, but it's only translated to that 1 round on the board for the attackers. And coming into this next one, there is a potential to go for an investment, but especially no showstopper to back them up. Pit being a little further away.
على كيفك
They
زين.
just get whatever pieces they can and save up the for the next.
إن شاء الله يمكن على نهاية
They're going to go for
السنة.
the investment. They've got enough for light
Actually, yeah,
shields and basically only a guardian.
أفكر على نهاية
especially
السنة إن
with
شاء الله
Nightfall.
أسوي صفر.
You're up against an op instead of the outlaw now as well,
And
so light shields don't matter so much.
With their credits kind of being on the brink, I don't mind it. Like this, if you let them have a free round, all the economy is back in Mandatory's favor. Again, though, I was going to say they're being caught early by a lot of this utility, but already one has got past it. Nice work from Mikey, but I don't think he realizes where Exit is. He will spin around just quick enough and escape. The advantage gained, and then Enzo's there to support off the back. Now, Kellogg's has been caught on the other side of the map, but look how deep Sikri already sits. He's got to be careful he's not caught out, but will be able to escape behind the wall, and in fact, even going to use the Nightfall. It connects onto a few, but they are forced right back into sand.
يبينهم بريك.
Left Sikri all alone. He could have brought that into a 1v1 there, but a missed shot, and he is sending it towards the C site. Obviously knowing both players are here.
الحين موجود جينكس.
But that resurgence, look at him, 7-2. I think this might be the best start we've seen from Mandatory's controller in Ascension so far, and certainly in terms of the impact of every kill that he's found.
That will be an open plant for Sikri. It leaves him with pretty much any position that he can play from, but I like where he's going. He's going for the aggression. Enzo's just waiting on the angle, though. May have even spotted the barrel of the gun. I wonder if he did. He was very, very ready for that fight.
Oh.
Guys,
And that will be a
أوريكم شيء
5-1
مرة
start
يضحك.
for Mandatory. An impressive defensive display thus far.
Yeah, it really is, and you think
I got hit by Twitch's new
Pacific. It was somewhere
new
that
thing.
when they went aggressive towards this rubble position, they were constantly being shut down. Twisted Minds were able to deal with that aggression. Here, Mikey comes right out the gate, and he's getting in their face. Really nice stuff to see that confidence early on the defense, especially in such a crucial round.
الأغلبية متربص.
We're on the brink, as you said. Twisted Minds.
الأغلبية متربص فيجي يقول أوكي ما راح أحسبهم. أبى أحسب بس اللي يكتبون بالشات. أوكي. أوكي شكرا تويتش. Thank you.
You know, one away from the pit. If they can get onto the site, if the right player's planting or taking a kill or an orb, this could go in their favor. This
is لا العكس.
up against the lower buy, but it's got them
اللي بين قوسين عدد الفيورز اللي بالشات عندي الموجودين بالبث. بس في نظام في تويتش له يمكن اسبوعين او ثلاثة طيب واشوف الاجانب مرة يشتكون عندي بتويتر. يصيرون يحسبون بس الناس اللي يكتبون في الشات. لا 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 واللي متربصين وجالسين ومدري ايش. تذكرون قد مرة كان يجيني ناس يسوون لي فولو بوت مدري ايش ورايح البث رايح الموقع يشيل الفولورات. اوكي تخيلوا انه شال فولورز اعرفهم، شال المودريتر وشال ناس كذا على اساس انهم بوتات. اي تخيلوا. فانا قاعده افكر اقول لا يكون ان تويتش ماخذين نفس نظام الموقع هذا حق الفولو بوت، قاعد يشيل حتى الناس اللي موجوده صدقيه بس يحسبهم بوتات.
throwing in his net deep is always fragmenting this push, and he's changing the timing on it now as well to try to let one or two out, catch the others. The wall goes through as well. Like he's constantly dividing the forces while the rest of the map control is being contained by him. That's a lot to deal with for Twisted Minds. I think that might be something.
ما ادري ايش طريقتهم جينكس الصراحه، ما ادري. بس عندي تويتر 3/4 اللي في تويتش زعلانين. كل الناس منهبله. يجي احد عنده مدري كم فيور بين قوسين حقه يعني بين قوسين مره ارقام مره كثيره، يعني 70 فيور ولا 80 ولا 90. بعدين اللي برا بين قوسين يصير بس 3/4. لا مو 3/4 بس يعني يصير مثلا 20. اليوم ايش يجي والله Twitch is being so shit. عشان اللي يبتتلون فهم زعلون. ضربوا الكل حرفيا. يعني شوف هنا شوفوا هنا اللي بين قوسين 2400 باليوزر شات هنا باليوزر 2000 شخص بس اللي قاعدين يناظرون اللي حاسبهم تويتش 2900 فتقريبا في حول 400 فيور فيك. الرقم هذا هو الرقم الصدقي، الرقم هذا هو الرقم اللي مو صدقي. 400 شخص داخل بدون حساب، عرفتوا؟ ممكن يكون آدمي صدقي وممكن يكون نبوت. واحدة سألتها عن الموضوع قالت
So even
عندي مكتوب 8 بدون قوسين. الفيوز اللي برا الأقواس يحسب الأشخاص اللي متفاعلين بالشات أو الأشخاص اللي ما يعتبرهم كبوتات. أوكي اللي ما قاعد يسولف عندي من شاترينو، اللي يسولف من شات الصدقي، اللي مو مشغل VPN، اللي مو مشغل اد بلوكر زي كذا. اللي بين قوسين هو الاكشوال الرقم الفعلي للناس اللي موجوده في اليوزر ليست. ما في قوسين عندي. هو انا حاطه ادونيا لوز. تعدل صار. شفت جينكس شلون كذا هم متخلفين مرة متخلفين، يروحوا يجي يقهرون مرة. اسماء انهانسر. ما في وقت.
Twisted Minds managing to run that clock down. The delay gives them their second round.
a much quicker take, and I think maybe spotting
بحول
a
الأخضر.
lot of what we've seen from Mandatory
والله إني قاعدة أحاول
is
أجسبه
taking over that A
بس إن الأخضر مرة
control,
شين.
taking over C control, and then either you have the Kellogg's TP to get you into the B site again, or you have the players obviously
والله
rotating
it's
back
not
through the
viewer
broken door.
friendly الصدق.
That leaves at least
For me
a
at
little
least,
bit
I
of time
don't
where if you're
consider it
very
as a
quick
user
into the
friendly.
site, you can get that space. No surprises, an immediate adaptation, but
But so far I'm
interestingly,
streaming
the
on all
gap
of
it's
them.
left is they're no longer going to
الأخضر
dominate that A
الأحمر
control, and it seems like Twisted Minds are going to challenge that instead.
Well, they've got it for free.
Nice,
And
nice.
Mikey's gone down. The B aggression.
They're playing it مرة slow. يبغون الA بس ما يبغون الA ما تدري هم يعني كذا يشيكون بس على الوضع.
Gonna have quite a contest.
أسود تويتر.
120 on the clock though. So much time to play with for this attacking side, and they're even
Black
gonna
one.
commit
لا
the smoke
تويتر
for
تويتر
cross.
أنا أسود.
That may just have saved San's life. Maintain that advantage for what seems to be almost definitely a retake.
لا ما أقدر أبث على التيك توك. محجوب عندنا فما ندري. في بث في بث في كل مكان. إني يكون في أي مكان تلقاني في ذاك إلا طبعا السحام.
Almost feels like they have to flee or at least have to try.
طيب عندنا 4 ضد 3.5.
Enzo hoping to try and deny them getting into the door, but with Kellogg still here, that might not be an issue for them. Already seeing the utility and just stop them in their tracks. Spike on the ground and only 2 players now standing.
Okay, 2 ضد 4 3.5.
Going for the jump peak, and also bear in mind that with Annihilation online and also a Hunter's Fury, there's so much still to play with, and the cross being well kept by Hip. He survived that first fight and also manages a second for himself as well.
اي 3.5 شوف سايفر لو.
Save if there weren't so many players lurking around every corner. Mandatory right back to winning ways.
خلني أكبر لكم
8-2 on the board,
الشاشة.
and it looked there like Takas was under too much pressure. He has a showstopper coming in. He's been hit by the Prowler. They know where he is. But Hip,
لا
being able to
3.5
survive
لأنه
that
حرفيا
shot,
he's low.
stays alive, essentially becomes his own Cam. He can't really take a bullet, but he can hold down some control and even gets another kill. I said it for Mikey, this has been one of the best performances, one of the greatest starts that he's had, and I think now Hip might be right up there with him. Seeing Takas online and how impressive that deadlock utility's been here on the defensive side, it's left a lot for Twisted Minds to try to deal with. And they've already used, as we said, one of those pauses early on here. It was necessary, considering where they were at. They tried to buy themselves a way back into the game, but that hasn't worked. And now, at 8-2, it can still be an okay half, but they've got to connect everything from this point forward, and their economy's in the bin.
Yeah, I think you're also going to rely on the next half being poor for Mandatory. It's looked like a completely different Twisted Minds to the team we saw yesterday. There was a lot of flair, and sure, a lot of that came from one man on this map in particular, but I think Sikri's been very quiet. Jesse had huge individual plays, even in maps where he may be not the best player. He still had those moments, and all of that seems to have gone missing at the worst possible time. Of course, the victor here,
what did you do to him?
heading into
I mean, Twiz, what did you do to
grand
him?
final matchup, one of the 2 that could qualify you to VCT. Of course, for Enzo, it would be another attempt at making it there. Yeah, well, it would be other players' attempts, but some of them managed to do it. So it's going to be very, very interesting if they do make it there. The fact is, though, for Twisted Minds, I think coming into today, I had them as favorites, mainly because of how they did versus BBL Pacific. They were fantastic. They were literally a couple of rounds away from already being in that grand final match as the #1 seed, and it being BBL Pacific here instead. It doesn't seem like they've managed to reset back into this match.
A Mandatory's journey as well, considering that, you know, you look back to the group of death that they were put in not long ago, and many doubted that they would even be here. They have battled for this spot, for the right to, for many of these players, take another shot at VCT, some of which have landed that shot.
You should give the context as well of what that group was. That was them versus BBL Pacific, who at the time were the #1 team on the points leaderboard.
Yes.
And then Enterprise, who were the #2 team on the points leaderboard.
Yep.
So literally, they went into a group. It was only a 3-team group, and only one team made it out of the group. So, and if they didn't make it out of there,
yeah, doesn't love you doesn't mean
I think we're almost
doesn't
zero.
mean that he hates you.
So they literally have almost
هذا الشيء كنت أحاول إني أقنع فيه الأوادم.
They didn't even win both games in that group.
Since I was in middle school.
Map difference.
When I say I don't love you, that doesn't mean that I hate you.
Well, this match and potentially just one best of 5 away from being in VCT, it would be a story. And then the team on the other side, of course, is a completely different story in its own
I just feel كده وش الكلمة mutual
sort of MENA region where they had their own point system all the way up until stage 3 of challengers. Twisted Minds managed to go there. I think most people were looking at them going like, okay, well, it's the MENA team, not high expectations. And they do incredibly well. They looked very, very good within it, only losing to top teams so far at least. But the fact is, if this is the moment where things have evaporated for them, like this is the map has said over I think it's the last 3 months or since July, they are on a 12-1 streak on this map, and I think it was a regional match where they lost. To all EMEA opposition, they have been able to take them down. But this is definitely one of the worst halves we've seen from them on this map in particular. And the next map, they have not played in 2025. Now, Mandatory have barely played it, but it's still one of those things that if Mandatory are willing to gamble that map, they have to have something prepared. And, well, based on my knowledge of someone like Enzo and the experiences on the other side, I believe what they've got prepared is probably quite good, especially as they're a team that's been running that Yoru Waylay, which on a bit is nasty. If they bring that in again,
thank you.
I'm a bit worried.
ERX. I mean, the reality is, you have to think this is not the kind of series where you come in and go, hey, screw it. Our prep isn't that good. Let's just roll it and see how it goes. Especially not against Twisted Minds. And you heard, obviously, earlier on the desk, one of the conversations was about beating a team a second time. Because we always say, and Minnie said it as well, the idea that beating a team once, sure, but the second time around, they now know how you play. You don't just have to play your game, because the kind of idea is they know what your game is.
Yeah.
They've lost to it. They've learned from it, and you don't learn that much from your victory other than, hey, what we do works, but it might not work the second time. And so for Twisted Minds, coming up against an opponent that's familiar with them, and that it seems like the first loss, a little bit of a spark for Mandatory. I mean, the game against Focus, certainly map 1, they came in swinging. And it looks like they brought that same energy here today. If I'm not mistaken, I'll double check. It was a 13-2 against Focus, right? On Haven, it was. And on course, at least, for a similarly dominant scoreline.
Oh my god.
We need to see Twisted Minds bounce back. And we know that they certainly can. We've even seen it from Zemo before. We saw it a bit from Sand as well. We're like, was it even this map where Zemo was like 1-7 starting out? And then the second half, he ends up neck and neck. He has some really good performances. So there's definitely still some hope for Twisted Minds to bounce back. A little bit of a technical pause for now, though. So finding out whether they will or won't will take a little bit. But you know what? That's just fine, because it means we get to hear from our wonderful analyst desk.
I'm an analyst. Oh.
حتى هي ما عندها صوت.
I can't hear you. I can hear you in person though. It might be enough. You are loud though.
I can't hear myself, but I assume I'm just gonna this stream has just gotten infinitely worse. Now you can hear me. I want to shout out to potentially, this could be the oldest Valorant team, average age-wise, we have ever had in Valorant. You've got Enzo, who's 29, Hip, who's 29, and my boy Mikey, who's 27. And I want to just shout out Mikey so much, because I think he flies under the radar a lot when it comes to his role and his fragging prowess. And he's just been like frying like crazy so far on Lotus. I love him so much. You know, I have the same sort of appreciation as when Social Ball finally made into tier 1.
It's the rookie.
Yeah, but to see like a full team of boomers.
Yeah.
Admittedly,
the boomer rookie.
Admittedly, like I don't want to do that to Kellogg's and Takas, but the other 3 potentially all being 30 by the time they are in VCT is outrageous in the best way possible. Gives me hope. for Sliggy, because I saw that somebody in his chat was asking when he's going to go pro. And I'm like, pretty sure he's pushing 60, but you know, fair enough.
The off-season grind might happen. It doesn't go well.
I mean, how long's the off-season? 3 years. Yeah, what I was going to say is, yeah, I love Mikey. I have so much respect for him. He's just, for people that don't know him, he's just this very chill, calm, keeps himself to himself. He's a little bit introverted, but he's a very kind soul. I just love him.
It's like you're his mum, like trying to be like getting him a date or something.
I mean, well, no, because we're at the same age, pretty much. You know, I'm bringing myself down a little bit with the age thing. But I just really like his story. You know, seeing him in Tier 1 would make me very, very happy. But also, I think Hip is somebody that if you weren't around in 2020, 2021, maybe you wouldn't know who he is as well, but certainly.
زادوا القوانين وزادوا الحاسة حقتهم وأحس.
Well, before we were even Sun FC, was Hip's team.
Was it the
and
Rhyme
like,
roster?
No. It was. I think he was playing with Existence.
Oh.
I think. And I remember thinking,
I feel like Chiwa is in there somewhere.
Maybe.
Was that with the Chiwa?
No, it was full French.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we beat them, and I was like, okay, maybe we can do this.
Isn't Existence Belgian?
Yeah, but he's like
cancel him, guys.
No. Everyone at this point knows that Existence is pretty established in the French scene. You know
okay, yeah.
Even though
potato, patata. But yeah, sorry, you wanted to talk about comp.
Yeah, so the comp graphics gone. Can we bring that back up? So
I just want to talk about Mikey.
We're gonna go to real talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that Twisted Mind's done a pretty bad job of doing their usual Lotus stuff. So yeah, I want to talk about Mandatory's comp here. So the Deadlock Cypher, the way I'd explain this comp is it's like an auto win comp. So if the other team doesn't do the things they should do against it, you just auto win. Which is great at this level of competition, where sometimes you might not have every team check every box. And so what Mandatory or what Twisted Mind should be doing.
ما في مشوار بارتنر للأسف عشان كذا أغلب الأجانب عندي زعلانين لأن قاعد يقمعهم من ناحية مشوار البارتنر.
There's no Killjoy, there's no Vice. But instead what we're seeing is Twisted Mind's not defaulting that Uto.
Are they overcooking?
They're undercooking.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then just going A. And so they're not playing. I think the game plan they had in previous games would work perfectly here.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they're not doing it. It's like they're overthinking and then undercooking.
Maybe that's a rematch syndrome too, right? Like you want to not play the exact same way you did last time, just in case they.
But they do the BC default stuff for the past few months. Like when I watch the VODs, like they do it quite a lot. And it's very surprising to me that they've just decided to change it in the moment where it's probably the most powerful. So yeah, if the coach takes a timeout, I hope that they start abusing C after defaulting.
What about with the side switches? Because honestly, I mean, inevitably, you know, they don't have to be on
side
attack.
Switch, well, I mean, I think statistically the Deadlock Cypher comp is better on attack, apparently. It shouldn't be in theory, I don't think, but yeah, they're pretty doomed right now. They need to sneak those last 2 rounds in, I guess, in this half.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's GG.
I also think the momentum, though, is kind of good for Twisted Minds to have this little bit of a break because the momentum was so heavily on the side of Mandatory. Just felt like they couldn't stop it.
It's a nice reset for sure.
Yeah, they couldn't stop it at all. I mean, your team was very well known for winning. Like, I think there was a stat that was 90% of the rounds after tech pause you'd win.
Tech pause?
Yeah. It was very, very high.
My tech timeouts weren't very good, but the tech pauses, they hit hard.
Traditionally, Eric has always diffed you on Navi with the tech pause, with attack pauses. But we're done here. We don't have to yap anymore. So let's jump back into game with the other 2 boomers, Mitch and Tom.
Hello? Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Tom? Tom? He's coming back. He'll be back. I think the game's ready to roll. We're ready to rumble. All right. We'll find my bald British man and we'll get right back into this. Mandatory 8-2. It was a strong performance from Mandatory. And just like myself, it seems like Twisted Mind's a little asleep at the wheel, but now is the time to bounce back. And more so maybe in the next round. They haven't got a lot to work with. Credit's going to be saved. And 9-3 half, kind of what they're gambling for. But we've seen stranger things than a buy like this working out. Hunter's Fury early off the cam contact, and it will be nothing found as a result. Expanded versus the eco as well for Twisted Minds. That's a valuable piece of ult economy taken out of play for what is the next round that they're gambling for.
Oh, 5 spins.
Well, I don't think Mandatory will mind too much. 9 rounds. on the defense.
Nice, Muqtada, nice.
It'll be more than worthwhile, but they haven't done too much other than the chip damage to exit thus far. One of the few rounds they won was off of his entries with the Sheriff, but that's looking less and less likely as the game has gone on, and they get to really find the contact that they want. Throughout the game, they've been conditioned into there being maybe an aggressive Yoru somewhere, or a push-up of Omen in the form of Mikey. In this round, there isn't that. They are sitting back.
Yeah, an extremely patient display, and it's kind of what you need against this buy. The risk's always there, but exit and Sand will fall. The big gun finding 2. And it might not be done yet. 20 seconds on the clock, and Twisted Minds, where are you going to go? The door's being opened, but guess what? Some suppressive fire might just come their way fairly soon. It will be Hip landing himself 1 before going down, and with his push into B, I don't think they stand much of a chance. Don't worry, just like our observer Zilv, I really wanted to see the wall bang as well, but Enzo's being patient. He was saving his ammo. An economical player. 9-2, double digits for mandatory, possible at the halftime, but that wasn't an investment.
Yeah, it's kind of at a point though where even if they get to 3 rounds, they'd have to have a really impressive defensive side. This is almost feeling like Twisted Minds need a reset with the coach, and well, have to have a plan on Abyss. I think that will be the main talking point. It's been a rough map for them across the board, and I'm less and less believing in any form of comeback. They'll get some early control onto A, but for the most part, what was those aggressive walk-ups from exit, those contact plays which worked out of them with like solid trades and only really exploding into the site once he found contact, that has almost had to dissipate because it hasn't worked.
Oh, Kellogg's luckily has a way out of there. The gate crash used. Spotted a bit of info, but couldn't take his shot. Twisted Minds managed to find that orb. Managed to keep Sand alive, so the lockdown is now going to be online and available. And it looks like the play is to move to A, maybe take tree, maybe even just ult in that close. Now, you can already see the ping. They're going to ult behind the tree. For Enzo, that means heavy pressure coming his way. You can already see the Viper wall will go up. The spam has got to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
They dodged it. They're ready for that spam. He has to give it up and barely survives.
Yeah, the OTP though that came out from Mikey has given them the information early. That means there's now 4 players within this.
صراحة توقعت إنه بيكون easy for them to play this because
can they counter anything with the
you know
lockdown?
it's an attack.
Already.
He's spamming it.
Opener found. Spam.
Let me exit.
Through, but that lockdown is still in play. Annihilation used, but it has not been connected.
حلو nice waste of ultimate.
Will be forced back.
A
few after plants we're going to see once again from Twisted Minds, and this time they have a man
advantage.
You maybe want to see that Annihilation saved a little bit later and also bounce back off the wall, so a disaster, and with the lurk up here, even. But coming through Heaven, Takas, he's got a heavy engagement on his hands. Sekri has walked up close. It looks like, he doesn't have support. The other players down below, but will the corner be cleared?
Nice.
No, but the shot landed. Twisted Minds now in a 3 versus 2. The spike tap will draw them into a fight. Oh, in fact, it won't. The nano thrown in. Beautiful. Sand uses it as bait, and another big round needed for Mikey. Not delivering this time. Twisted Minds at least making it to 3. But like you said, Tom, still a lot of work to be done to recover their map pick.
ليه ما تلعبين معهم؟ يلا. MJ, say hi. Hi. Take care and have fun. Take care. Welcome back, Abdullah. ليش ما تلعب معهم يا هوب؟
While 3 rounds on the board for Twisted Minds, it's a bare minimum. A lot more needed, and this pistol round could sway things massively into the favor of Mandatory. They've already got the upper hand. Now it looks like the slam dunk just needed, with Lotus being the pick of Twisted Minds and Abyss up next, as you've said a few times, Tom. A map that we haven't gotten to see much from either team on, but with Mandatory picking it, it certainly seems like the ball is in their court.
Yeah, I've learned in the past that it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out wonderfully for them, but it is definitely a worrying sign for Twisted Minds, a map that they have looked unstoppable on, and while they have very much looked stoppable on this map, countered, some may even say, they were denied all the way through the map. Still, Twisted Minds had a fairly stellar defensive side when they played each other last. I do think they're going to need a pistol if they're going to be able to turn this around.
Oh, I think that's a fair call. The A site seemingly the target for Mandatory. You can see the utility being lined up, the smoke's in play, and the dive towards the site. The gate crash about to come through. They've already put boots on the ground, and I like this from Sand. He's just backed off. He's given up the space. If he stuck around on that site, he wouldn't.
خلاهم يدخلون بسرعة ال A. That's
the
weird.
amount of set utility being thrown in. The only play was to back away, but it's allowed for that post plant. With all of that deadlock utility already down on the ground, it definitely makes things that little bit tougher. They have done damage though. 2 players fairly low already.
Paranoia has been sent through, but they're going to be delayed by the sonic sensor sitting outside of the stairs. Hipped as well to land is first.
Nice.
In goes the net as well. A few players caught by it. Takas, despite being low HP, has a chance to have huge impacts, but it's Kellogg's to take the cake. A triple kill, one better than his last pistol, and 10-3 on the board. That nail hammered deep into the coffin of Twisted Minds on Lotus. The old last pack on the box routine.
يعني ما أدري ليش ما شايفه على الكورنر.
I wanted to pick up on with the interview from Kellogg's is, I mean, we know
Fun, please, let's win this.
Trials and
Qualify,
tribulations
please.
on prior teams, plus Kellogg's, minus Kellogg's, plus Kellogg's.
والله I believe in them.
He
بالله.
said that this is the team
Guys,
that feels like
ذكروني
a
الجيم
family.
الجاي
This
سوي
is the
تصويت
team
ها.
where he feels comfortable. And I think we're witnessing that. Even though individually he hasn't had the greatest performance thus far, when it came to the pistol round in this second half, he was the one needed. And everybody's been performing. Everybody.
لا شوف الصراحة يا عبد الله ترى مانداتوري ترى كانوا أقوياء أذكر.
And already, well, if he wasn't at the top of the
لكن وكان صعب مرة يعني أخذ جهد كبير من تويستد عشان يفوزون عليهم أمس مدري قبل أمس.
The last round and all being claimed as well. He's only 2 away from having the dimensional drift. The remaining 2 players of Twisted Minds genuinely need to be careful because
فالحين صاير مانداتوري خسروا ضد تويستد والحين جايين بطاقة الريفنج عرفت؟ مانداتوري جايين يبغون يكسرون روز. بينما تويستد أمس خسروا والحين هم في اللوزر براكتس، فأنا أحس إنه نفسياً تويستد طايحين نفسياً. That's why they're not playing as much.
Really nice story between Takas, who's obviously made the run before, Enzo, who faltered at the last hurdle of making it to VCT. But
يعني you need to إنك كذا تفكك الموضوع من الناحية النفسية والسايكولوجيكية.
He got ejected from the league after a pretty tough season when it came to his run on Heretics. The Heretics team then had this huge uptick and suddenly look really good while he's just stuck in tier 2 DVM, I think it was. Then he ends up on Mandatory, finds his home here, and has really come into his own on this roster. He has done his time in this tier 2 and rising back, coming back to the table. If they can make the run complete, would be a beautiful story indeed.
I think as well, like they're having the opportunity.
Now.
Oh, it is outrageous.
There was zero need for that.
I was going to say, also doing it with that full French team, because he was always in a lot of the sort of like the mixed rosters when he was in tier 1. Still a long way to go to get there. This is only map number 1, but this has been a display. This has been a clinic from Mandatory so far, and Twisted Minds are yet to show up to the party.
You never know.
They showed their best yesterday versus BBL Pacific, and it was almost enough, very nearly. The team that everybody had as favorites coming in, including myself, almost faltering to the one representative of MENA, but today has not looked like the same story. Their first bye, and potentially their only bye if they don't make this one work.
A lot of pressure. And a map that they've looked so good on. And it's tough to look at it without, you know, singling out Exodus. You know, he was unreal last time. But can you really expect the guy to put up those god tier, was it 31 kills?
Yeah.
You know, every single time? No, of course not. For Mandatory, full control, their defensive aggression worked wonderfully. It always kept Twisted Minds on the back foot. The resurgence needs to start here, and it's Zemo being lost. Your Viper Wall now out of play. It's making it easier for Mandatory to keep the control that they've already wrestled out of the hands of Twisted Minds.
No shot. He just fired it into the smoke and has forced them back off the angle. That's going to sell the idea that here Sikri in a good position, but hasn't managed to land. Exit once again, trying to be the hero they need, but I was going to say, he can only muster 2. That should normally be enough. The spike, however, has been dropped to the deck. keloqz is going to very quickly have to deal with that. But Sand, unfortunately, stuck behind the wall, and they know it. They know exactly where he is. A safe space to plant, and a 1v2 needed for Sand.
That was so nice. They almost won it just off the time. Sand now with a tougher task at hand. That wall might even help him out. The ult going to be used, unfortunately. He's also hit by the net. That's the kill. Now, real problems starting to brew. Takas's wall falls, so he steps in, sees the defuse, isn't underway, and swings back in. Surprising Sand, and putting 12 on the board for Mandatory. They have so many chances to close this out. 9 in a row needed for Twisted Minds on their map pick. This is not the start you were looking for.
No, there was so much opportunity in this round, but again, they've recovered once more, and you can see the vibes of that squad couldn't be much higher right now. Everybody performing exactly as needed.
Throwing net.
With 9 chances to close out a map that has been a scary place to go for any team in this tournament or before it. 12-1 since the beginning of July. The Twisted Minds looks like it's about to become 12-2 at the worst possible moment. And for Mandatory, we'll get to see what sort of surprises lay in wait on Abyss.
Coming into this series, you know, especially with how close it was last time, you did think that you're in for a game where anybody could take the cake. Mandatory weren't count. Oh, it's a beautiful spam and a little taste of Enzo's own medicine delivered by Jesse here. That's what you like to see. Yeah, you thought Mandatory could win. There's no doubt about it, but you didn't think it would look this dominant, and maybe it won't. Maybe Twisted Minds can make a generational comeback on their map pick in a moment where it matters more than ever for this organization, for these players. Their run ended if they lose this series, and losing their map pick is a step towards
30 seconds left.
Plan's being baited, but all of this is just a ruse. They're trying to pull rotations, in keloqz in such a nasty position. I think he's heard the turret go down, so he knows the Sand is here! 1 bullet is all that's needed. Plant in, Exit is hunting and should have a free kill. That's 1. Looks for the second, and while Jesse's there alongside him, they know that keloqz is a little bit too far away. He would have to run this down. He would have to sprint in, and they are waiting on the angle. A step up from Jesse. But a long, long way to go.
Yeah, it was a really, really big play.
Nice.
The spam to start, great prediction. But I think Zemo's going to stop going anywhere near that position now. It's the second time. He got shot in the back last time. Now there's a dude just standing waiting for him. He's got to be feeling hard done by those rotations. That's for sure.
He's going to be like, you go first.
Yeah.
You go.
Someone else rotate.
And I'll fight him afterwards when I know where he is.
Screw your Killjoy utility. I'm staying C. You know, fair play. Or go the long way. Well, 8 in a row needed. Certainly is a big task. Full buy still in for Mandatory.
Cage trigger.
As we said, a lot of work to be done. Twisted Mind's not shying away from it early on. Yeah, there's no punishment on the sand, thankfully.
Still, plenty of investment here for mandatory. The fact is, at this stage of the game, they could genuinely just wait for all 5 ultimates to be online and hit them where it hurts. So many combinations available
every
to them.
step, every
They're
move.
probably going to want to try and close out a little quicker, not allow even a semblance of hope. Exit, kind of expecting to hit those ones. They weren't even ready to take that fight. Now getting into that terrifying post plant again, though. The spams of Jesse, Sikri combining, they have an advantage once more.
And the Paranoia is going to get them control over Hobbit. The Nightfall is going to give them a lot of information. 3 versus 4 on the back foot. Now with Enzo down, it gets even worse. Takas and Hip needed. It's left on to Takas. He's so reliable, stunned up, but Sikri didn't jump up top. He can't punish. Takas is given a moment. Defuse tapped, the time ticking. He's gonna play with that clock, running it down. Takas with the shoulder peaks. He's pulling him off the spike again and again, and delivers the death blow on Lotus. From mandatory, 1-0 up. They can say hip, 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 hooray. And as they look forward to Abyss, no doubt Twisted Minds will fear what's coming up next after the break.
Still lonely. I'm so lonely. Why is no one chatting though? No one loves you. No, I'm joking, I'm joking, dude, I'm joking. يمكن قاعدين يلعبون جيم. يمكن رايحين الحمام. يمكن رايحين يتعشون مثلا. زي عندنا مين اللي رايح يتعشى؟ دب رايح يتعشى. يمكن بيروحون ينامون زي أنا مثلا. Thank you for the follow.
We didn't choose to go Abyss. It's their map pick, and I guess they'll pick it to surprise us. So yeah, I mean, we never played it, but it's a really good map from us. There's nothing more about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
The last time you played Lotus against Twisted Minds, you lost. What changed? We did some adjustments on the defense side, most of it. Yeah, we choose to play a bit more aggro, to play for A, more aggro, to take rubble a bit more, and to not let them take space too much, so we have more info on the map, and we have another plan if they go C, so we prepared well, I think, this, and the boys did amazing. Yep, that's kinda all.
It's always nice when you come in with a plan that works out. I got Mini back here with me, and I mean, that map did live and die by just the amount of rounds the Mandatory were able to win on their defense.
Yeah, I was very interested by the answer. I think I kind of understand, because I was saying that like I wanted to see Twisted Minds go C more, and apparently Mandatory were ready for that and expected that to happen. I think Mandatory in reaction, I saw a round where they pushed out A all the way and flanked. I think that's what they're referring to as maybe what the next layer was going to be.
They didn't even need to show it, right?
You had to show it once.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, I mean, you love a day like that in the office, Minnie. You know, you're thinking about, I didn't sleep at all last night. It's paid off.
Yeah, when you get to hide your strats and then come in the next day and like be able to like pull that out again, like it's pretty good. Unless the analyst desk kind of reveals it, maybe, but.
We would never do that. But I will say though, a lot of the times I think people do focus on the stats, on the numbers, on the frags, but you have to focus on that here, because this is, you know, I believe outside of Kellogg's, in terms of statistically at least so far in this tournament, we haven't really even been too focused on the other players' firepower prowess. But what a time to step up. What a time to hit your shots.
I mean, I would say Takas had a great tournament so far, both Kellogg's and Takas, but it's a very good sign that they don't need Kellogg's to get literally 290 ACS in order to win a game like this. Like you said, like Hip and Mike have this game were very strong. And they need that through the rest of this tournament if they want to ascend, I think.
What's Hip doing up there, man? Yeah, 2025. My guy is up there. You gotta be
giving me and Sticky hope.
Yeah, I mean, Sliggy might be alright. I'm not sure about you.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, Bacon says that he carries the both of you, actually.
There's no way.
No, he's never said that. I'm just instigating.
I know.
I
know he's not said that.
No, he's definitely not said that. But for Twisted Mind, though, we are gonna soon move on to Abyss. For one team, haven't played in a hot minute. The other team never played as its roster. So this is I think for me, a weird place to go to. Yeah, honestly, like, sorry, I just, man, like, is this 2020 again? Like, what is happening? I love it, because we have so many Zoomers, so many of the, you know, like the BBL Pacific.
I mean, that's the narrative we had this tournament, right? Was that the Zoomers are coming in hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hip's doing it.
He is. Hips don't lie. I'm already coming up with stuff, you know, just in case. But we can't get ahead of ourselves, because Twisted Minds, they are a great team. They should be able to reset here, because but we hear from players more often than not that they'd rather sort of get owned and reset than for it to go triple overtime.
Getting owned on your map pick that badly, I think is pretty bad.
You think?
Like, I'm very worried, because I think that like they weren't. The strategy was slightly off, but they were also not in that game at all.
The only thing that I'm not worried about is they are very good. You know, they're not here by fluke. They're here because they're a great team, and they're still the favorite. If you really look on paper, pound for pound. But this map is not something we see from either of these teams, so they don't have the luxury of prepping for the last 2 days, coming up with the stuff that they did on Lotus, knowing exactly how Twisted Mind like to play. And I think we heard it from the coaches, a lot of what they managed to do on Lotus is because they had a really decent, solid game plan against Twisted Minds. So I'm not actually that worried.
I don't think that was all game plan. I think they had a decent game plan, but I think that Twisted Minds were not playing to the standard they should be.
That's what I mean.
I think on Abyss they could reset, but let's be real, they played yesterday. It just looks like a team without that experience of playing back-to-back days and then just looking a bit flat.
Why are you such a Debbie Downer? You sound like Fatty.
If this was like Mandatory had won their own map pick 13-4, I'd maybe copium a little bit.
Okay.
But I have to be realistic that like this is quite a bad position for Twisted Minds.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't think they want to be in this position, but I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I really don't.
Okay.
I also do think.
What do you think? How do you think they come back?
It was. I mean, on Lotus, their star players weren't really even shooting back.
Exit?
Like Exit.
But
really,
who else? Because we keep saying Exit, but who else?
Sikre for me is. I know he's the IGL, but he has also been putting up silly numbers.
I think for me, like, I think Waddle was talking about Sand, or Tag was talking about Sand.
Yeah.
And he's not been to the level that I think that he's usually at this tournament.
He has been.
I think he needs to.
Yeah, I agree. A little bit flaccid from him. Why are you laughing? I don't mean it like that.
Weird?
There are other meanings to these
okay,
words.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
But I think their star players didn't really show up. I think Abyss is, again, like, we don't even know how good mandatory on Abyss.
That's true.
They could be ass. Like, you never know. And I think, again, the fact that they are the team that are they're favorited for a reason. And sometimes you might want to preemptively think that you've won, so maybe you let your guard down a little bit.
Do you think Mandatory are doing that? I think Mandatory are the least likely team to let their guard down.
Yeah, Minnie, there's only 2 of us here. We can't both be sat here dunking on Twisted Minds. That's the problem.
Yeah.
One of us has to be good cop, and you chose bad cop. We didn't even have a chance to talk about this. So if you default bad cop, I gotta be good cop, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna be just like us dunking on someone.
I think that could be good. I like that idea.
No, I don't want that. I mean, depends who it is, actually. I mean, if this was like, if this is another team, I'd be more comfortable dunking on. But I'm not. Look at him.
I know. What's he saying?
There's a little guy. There's a little.
That's the most hope.
I can't dunk on little bro in front of little bro. Well, we got a tiny bit of a spoiler there. We will see Kellogg's Takas Waylay Yoru. We will see. We will.
Orb smokes on
it looks like Exit is also hovering Waylay as well.
I really like watching Takas play duelist. Like Takas was originally a duelist, but like I think he's better now, like because he's just a better player at this moment, I think. And so when he does flex to the duelist, it's like he gets to show off a little bit.
Yeah, and
so
of course
I quite like this.
I'm looking at Exit's general agent pool. He certainly never played Waylay in this tournament. He has played the Waylay the once before. Didn't go super well, but if he does lock that in, that is not something that we can even predict what he's going to do.
On the attack side, it's going to be quite difficult for him because he doesn't have tons of support. He does have the Paranoia Recon and maybe an Astrostan. Like traditionally, you see the Waylay either paired with the Yoru or with a Breach on this map, and so he's gonna be living and dying by that dash in.
Honestly, I'm not a biggest fan of solo Waylay, but I am a big fan of Astra. So I'm sort of torn here because, you know, if we go by the example we see from teams like DRX that basically spammed the hell out of this, the Yoru Waylay has legs. The solo Waylay, I think it's a bit of a...
I think you need the other initiators around it to make it work.
I agree. So does this make you feel better now you've seen Agent Select?
No, it makes me feel worse for Twisted Minds.
What, Minnie? Oh my goodness. All right, honestly, anything can happen on the server. Anything can happen at Ascension. We've seen it already. You know, these players have proved we're just not knowers. We're wrong about everything. We were so confident for Twisted Minds, you know, coming into this. It felt like mandatory, going to be on the back foot. But what's more impressive is, will Mitchman finally break his curse? Can he bring this one home for mandatory? Because none of us are biased here, are we?
Can you bring it home?
Yeah, it's all on me now. It's all on me. Well, I've made my moves. I've done the best that I can.
You're going to prove everybody wrong.
I can't believe I've finally proven everybody wrong. Now we're on to references 4 people get. But yeah, for mandatory, this is a monumental moment. They have just decimated Twisted Minds on that first map, and now they're onto their pick. You're going to see that a big conversation in the last map on the desk, and even when we get into the game, is the fact that Twisted Minds on Abyss, this is some new territory for them. And one of the things that seemed the hardest to play against when we look at champions was the Waylay Yoru on this map. It is so bloody oppressive. I love the utility. I love the options. And maybe Twisted Minds won't by the time this is over. They've brought the Waylay in themselves, but they don't have that second dive with it. And I think certainly on the attack side, that makes a big difference. Still, with the orb smokes they've got, bringing in the double controllers.
هنا على الكنبة. وي. شو صار؟ شات؟ ألو؟
Been into this one rather than go all in on a strat after how the first map went.
Yeah, I think the main difference is just the synergy you're going to get from Takaz and Kellogg's, and well, in perfect timing, they're both walking up together. It really is just devastating, that 1-2 punch, and it's going to be difficult to play against. Double control and might
طيب عندنا تويست مايندز اتاكرز
delay and potential
بينما
in the
mandatory
retake. More importantly,
defender.
they've managed to get the opener here. Sand catching out Takaz on the aggression.
For everything. The assumption, obviously, is that Mandatory, being in this position, will overplay their hand. They're a man down. This is where you start to get aggressive, even more so. You see them on mid, and you try to get information elsewhere. But this has been a very, very slow play. I've seen pings coming in from the defensive side, deep towards the spawn, towards B.
They're cheating.
I don't know. I don't think they can even have any way to know that the players are there, but they suspect it. And the stack up on B is the right call, as they're about to find out. 30 seconds, not much time to go back either. Twisted Minds are running into the stack.
You will صح?
To try and take that first point of contact, but look how many players are just here ready and waiting to already going in their favor. Mikey's yet to even reveal his position. In fact, he's not needed at all. He's just sat there. He gets a load of assists thanks to the smoke that he was sat in. Other than that, it made no difference to the route whatsoever, but it was his teammates on the back of it. Just run riot as they try and make their way through.
As you said, it was a pretty big... He almost went off the chair there. It was a pretty big gamble. That's 3 pistol rounds now. We've seen Kellogg's on his feet, getting that injection of adrenaline to start out each half. And for Mandatory, a 1-0 start. Twisted Minds probably giving them a 2.
يلا
on this attack side.
بقفله في راوند 4
with 4 rounds
او راوند 2 بعد هذا الراوند.
You have to look at this and think they need to find success early on. You can't see like a 5-6-0 scoreline develop, or it's going to be very hard to bounce back.
Yeah, the devastating thing is, like, a lot of the time you might look around like that and go, oh yeah, they must have had a hard
تصويت.
There is no data, like literally none. Unless across all maps they just happen to default back to B, which they don't. So it's just madness, and you've got to just feel like your opponent is almost in your head, or you're making mistakes that you're actually not making. So it's going to be difficult. These early starts have definitely helped out Mandatory as well. It gave little to no wiggle room. I believe they won both pistols in the last map as well. So it's been a rough time for Twisted Minds, and yet to really see anything that's suggesting otherwise. They're rotating back towards A, where the full Cypher setup is. And just look how far Takaz has gone up. That's why they're rotating. He is already basically in their spawn.
Careful now.
Well, the Trips caught one. Zemo not going to have a good time, nor is anyone on Twisted Minds. A flawless round. And you know, with the Classics, sure, you're not going to do a lot of damage, but anything here would have been valuable. With Mandatory going for a big investment, it was with 3 Bulldogs, an Outlaw, and that Ares, and they get all of those weapons carried through to the next round. Very valuable for this defensive side as they now come in to what was, at least in the first half of the previous map, it was a 3-0 start because of pretty much the same scenario.
He's got a waylay trip. That's why that's up there. And try and catch the player dashing above. We'll see if that ends up being an issue for Exit. He was fairly well shut down in the previous map, and this is the trouble. With this double duelist, especially, you know the attack's going to be good. You know the set plays on the attack are always going to be tough to play against with the double dive. But it allows for aggression on either side of the map. You had the early peek into middle, and then a somewhat ridiculous push already from Takaz. Like, he has just taken over full B control. Now, sure, they're patiently waiting, but the rest of the team can now gamble a little bit more on, okay, how are we going to play around mid? We've got the Cypher set up on the other side of the map.
Hey, وش الشركة
They're probably sat there even on the defense right now going, well, where are they? It's been almost a minute, and they have taken no map control.
Take flight.
Well, the drone sent out, so at least going to catch Takaz, but he still has that dash to just get right on out of there. Playing towards that backside exit on his way through. Refract online, caught by the paranoia of his own teammate.
Yeah.
He's forced back, and that's space on the site given back to Mandatory. With the smokes down, they can hold on to it. 35 seconds. The only other presence they have on the map, a trap covering A push and a player in mid. Going back 30 on the clock doesn't seem like an option. They wait for the smokes to fade and they close in the distance. This fight on backside. Oh, the flash is perfect! That was sent in by Kellogg's. And you said about the two of these combining, look how much success they've had. 15 seconds, no chance for a plant elsewhere. Damage, I guess, is all they can hope for. But there's so many rifles being retrieved and even bodies being sprayed.
God, this is brutal. It's a bonus round where they still had the likes of an Ares. You sort of mentioned it. There was a lot of mixed weapons in this round, and they made it look incredibly comfortable. It might be early, but I want to see the calls already from Twisted Minds. Like, this has just been an absolute blitz.
اي شركة انت وش وين تشتري الماوس والكيبورد
a few players where I sort of sit and look at them in the synergy they have with teammates, and Takaz is one of them that I think is one of the best. Think about back to him and Natong. Like, that duo on the old mates roster was just filthy. Like, they would have these setups where you would have Bayaz sat somewhere on the map, basically in spawn with a stun, just like, where do you need the stun? And just fire it off. And then you had just the synergy that Takaz had with his fellow duelist, in that case Natong. Here, it is Kellogg's, and that was just beautiful. Knew when the flash was coming, both players completely blind, two of the freest kills he's ever going to get.
You know, one of the things that I look at this for Twisted Minds, they got to choose where they start. They chose the attack side, but running into these blockades this quickly is a major panic sign, because I think when you haven't played the map in officials, it's so much harder to then go to your B plan, your C plan, your D plan. You don't have those protocols developed and fleshed out as well as you would usually on pretty much any other map. And so here, the early timeout makes even more sense. I couldn't agree more. Like, 3-0 down, I've criticized coaches. I'm sorry, Pipson. I've done it before. I think it's a very early time to call it, but that's because normally you have these, like, first couple rounds planned out. Here, I understand that the plan needs to have a lot of changes. Yeah.
One kill, that was Sand in the pistol round. And that was the first kill. That was the first kill of the whole game.
Which is important because it means 2 flawlesses in a row gives Mandatory also a huge benefit when it comes to the economy.
They know Takaz is here somewhere. Already, dive above, a nice amount of damage, and actually, the turn back around grants a kill. Nobody else was here. They've done well off successful aggression in the early rounds from the likes of Takaz, but now he's gone. Are they able to recover?
The 3-0 up curse, man. It's always a 3-1 in response. Twisted Minds, they need that to be the case. 2 rifles to work with. I was going to say still that Bucky, but that has quickly faded away. And the smoke in main now going to put some pressure on. But Jesse delivering onto Enzo's, taking the numbers into their favor.
I must wait a moment.
The defusal spotted to not be being stuck, so they've got a little bit more time to play with here. Already halfway to
تعبان النيون كأنه بادي شوي
تعب. Comes in with the sheriff and well, he's grabbed them around as a result.
باخذ من باف. الصراحة باف أنا ما قد تعاملت معهم فالصدق يعني ما أدري. ما أدري شو الزين فيهم. ما أدري أبدا. Like I even asked بالتويتر بس ما حد رد علي. I was planning to buy from them mouse pad. ولا أحد رد عليه. ستاريا oh my god she thank you so much for the follow قبل 20 دقيقة. Oh I was asleep. I'm so sorry I didn't say hello. Thank you. Sorry. يا بطني.
Follows up with a kill. An immediate response though with a severe amount of aggression.
They're ready.
They are waiting again. They've gone back to that passive hold and Exit's just about
oh my Hamad oh my god guys are here. Oh shit.
He's out
oh shit I'm totally asleep. Holy shit. I just need a lawn. كلنا we need a lawn dude.
Mistake from Takaz. This one the bit of aggression is fine.
والله Hamad it's been so long.
Position was bad. Didn't have a refract in the right position. Used his dash early without really finding much for it. He was isolated and they punished him for it. And then got boots on the ground, upgraded weapon, and it spirals from there in the post plan. This time around, for Twisted Minds to make that adaptation to say, okay, they're going to push now. They're going to get aggressive. I love that.
Go eat. Lay.
The ult online for exit. Really, it matters where it goes. In fact, they're not even going to send it in, and he doesn't quite.
صراحة I'm hungry, yes. بس يعني.
He knows that they're ready for those dashes.
Hey, that was the idea. Try and catch him. Kellogg's instead. He's eliminated two very quickly. And now the
عشيتي ولا لا؟
Sikri trying his best and he's done well.
Not yet.
A double for himself.
2 ضد 1.5 واحد ضد 1.5. Oh.
Definitely not had the greatest of performances so far this tournament. They need him to show up in this round.
Okay.
This is a big one with low HP on Hip. That pick before they could group up would have been so valuable. Hip, if he goes up top too early here, this could be very dangerous. He's got to sink it.
No!
Mikey, but the head peek angle's good enough to catch Zemo falling back. He all picked up the defuse.
ما في جوبون.
A neural theft
That's not a
online for the
feature.
next, and after a
I'm just joking.
win, Twisted Minds reset back to that loss. 3-round gap maintained.
That second shot from Kellogg's is disgusting. Just as the
ما عندها ضمير مين؟
was about to bloom, maybe a little bit risky on the attempt on the third one, running through the smoke. But hey,
Heavenly ما عندها ضمير ليه؟
that was his first death.
أحس سهل الاختبار.
And well, across the board, that has been the case thus far. Still a purchase and a lot of ultimates to play with for that attack side. Still a possibility of a response. I'm looking at that convergence path as some real potential, especially with how aggressive the defense are going to be again.
ارحمي بطنك ونزلي لي اكل ان شاء الله بعد الايام. بقفل البث واروح ارقد.
Enzo's kind of caught in no man's land. Same spot as Takas. Certainly no fallback. He's got to stand his ground. Finds his first. Makes it a backside, but Paranoia's hot on his tail. Exit can't wrap around that corner, but the shock dart drops Enzo. Numbers kept in favor for Twisted Minds, but the neural theft sent out. Hip. He's looking for a kill. He's looking for a fight. A risk taken here. He baits them in, but it's Jesse to take him out.
بيسيب الأوب.
With Kellogg's miles away and up in a 1v3 retake, he doesn't want to risk it. This will be a 4-2 scoreline locked in with the save of Kellogg's.
Yeah, that super aggressive push they've
والأكل عادي بعدين.
It's clearly a plan.
الأكل موجود.
Being made by the defensive side that, okay, they're going to try and put the pressure on this side of the map. And although the utility landed, I think it was the paranoia forced all of them back. It just ended up not connecting onto everybody. And with how Twisted Minds have been waiting outside of that
position, وشو هذا؟ ما راح تنام طبعا.
Mandatory, because the fact is, those
apparently you don't know me, Mr. Abdullah.
Every time they have pushed in towards that B side, every time they have tried to take that all-in fight, those are the rounds that they have lost.
Yeah, I think time to retire that plan, I suppose. They tried to perfect it this time around, but it seems a few stretches too far away.
والله فيني نوم الأرض ما أدري أنا ليش قاعدة أعوض نوم ما أدري. مع إن اليوم قمت الظهر قمت 11. سويت أكل غديت عقب الغدا رجعت نمت ونمت وهي النومة. يقلع بليز إيش فيه؟ أعوض الأسابيع اللي فاتت اللي مو قادرة أنامها زين. يقلع بليز. ما عمري طفيت البث ونمت فيه. هذا اللي بطفي البث وبرقد.
A convergence path on either side. Dimensional drift where I assume they're going to try and combine it. There you go. Oh, he's going to stick it! Oh, just about.
كنت في بث دحو الساعة 3. الأسبوع اللي فات كان نومي مرة شين عبد الله. كان نومي مرة شين. ولأن الأسبوع اللي فات كان نومي شين أنا اليومين هذه قاعدة أعوض. متى بتطفين؟ بعد المباراة. لا أحس ما فيني طاقة ألعب، ما فيني طاقة أسوي أي شيء مرة. بيلي أشحن طاقة.
Sticking it, jumping off the map and catching the shorty kill, TPing back out, then finding Sikri later on. But crazy impact from Kellogg's.
This is the thing we always said about Kellogg's. Like Kellogg's, even on his prior teams, when he was confident, he was one of the scariest players in the world. I still remember, I think there was a clip on Pearl. He gets aggressive on B-side with a Blade Storm and just kills everybody. It was one of the most ludicrous plays I've ever seen. But when he wasn't confident, he was off the deep end. Well, it seems like they've managed to find that balance a little bit more within this team. And he's just taking risks, but they're paying off every single time. Enzo ends up being the switch to the bait. And that's already, well, the major danger man gone. They'll at least retrieve the gun off his corpse. They're taking damage in response.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous play to come up against. That spam in towards A main. They're looking elsewhere. Zemo has already given himself away. That operator still chiming in for a couple of kills. He's going aggressive. Look at where Kellogg's is.
He's
up against an eco.
One enemy
He's gone
remaining.
running it down, and this is what you said, Tom, about confidence for this guy. In each pistol round, we've cut to the cam, mandatory winning all three. We've gone in, and we've seen him on his feet. He's given high fives. Hell, I think he almost took Hip's wrist out at one point with the way he dapped him up. And this is terrifying. We talked in the first map about how there was an early pause by Twisted Minds.
ما في شيء اسمه عوض يعني والله يا جينكس انا احس انه فيه لاني لي اسبوع مو قاعده انام زين فجاه كذا اليوم اللي فات وامس واليوم بس بغير نوم.
The defensive side of this map, a map they haven't played an official on, Twisted Minds, they could be put under a lot of pressure. They could need that moment to chat with the coaching staff, but it's called in here. 6-2 down after a dominant map one. Mandatory are putting the pressure on, bringing the heat against Twisted Minds in map 2, and you can see that it's getting to that attacking side.
It was mentioned on the desk that the lack of play that we've
عليكم
seen
السلام من يحيى.
And I think that might be part of the reason
Welcome
for
to the
pause.
stream,
Like,
Barak.
if this guy's going to be diving into sites and trying to take the space, if there's no response every single time, it's just not enough. And he's been completely shut down wherever he's gone.
I think on Lotus, when they played it against BBL Pacific, if my memory's not failing me, Exit was 8 versus 1 in opening duels in the first half on their attack.
He did have 20 kills, so that would make sense.
Now he's 1-8 in just duels, period, starting out this map. This is a completely different attack side from the man who was responsible for that Lotus victory, who put 31 kills on the board, who looked unstoppable, who was dry swinging Lover's Rock, for Christ's sake, when he had an off and winning round after round at times.
إذا ما نمتي وقتها راحت عليك بس طيب شوف هذا يعني طول اليوم مرهقة تعبانة فيني النوم شلون تعلل هذا.
That's a lovely set piece straight after a pause as well. You could tell that was something that Mandatory were waiting to throw in. And there's the second layer to it. It's a missed shot from Kellogg's. And well, a few hit and a few missed shots for Enzo. That's how the Odin works.
It is. You'll miss a few shots usually.
Yeah, I'd say it's normally like a 1 to 50 ratio of hit to miss. Maybe when you use it.
I've got some lineups. I might not be Brock, but you know,
You're definitely not Brock.
Well, I could be one day.
He's tall.
It's true. I actually got a creak in my neck just talking to him for 30 seconds. It was an embarrassing moment for me. Someone was like, "You want a picture?" I was like, "No." This is Enzo deep with the play on the Odin. You don't see that every day. Kellogg's waiting on the other side. Pressure put on here. Exit going to put him in the dirt. Finally, we see Kellogg's fall at the hands of the duelist on the other side, but there's another duelist on the other side, and it's Takas now wrapping up behind. Twisted Minds don't have a safe fallback. No part of the map to play with right now, and they've got to fight for it tooth and nail if they want have any kind of foothold. It looks like they'll just sit down on the site, and this could work out if Zemo can find value in this smoke.
Yeah, there's only a few places they can be though, and that's the thing. It's been figured out, or at least it should have been. One player's gone round, and that gives Zemo a chance. It looked like they had the right idea. Unfortunately, he has managed to find a gap. Still though, low HP for Zemo. He needs to try and he lands the shot. Savior in the midst of real danger for Twisted Minds. He has managed to bring that one through. A third round for Twisted and a desperately needed one.
Yeah, he might not have won that one here by a fraction of HP. 5 health left in his bar. And he's delivered a shot that may just turn the tide in their favor. I love to see that as well. That same energy being brought in their room. He's on his feet. He's hyping up the boys. 3 rounds on the board. Hell, this is what they managed in the first half of Lotus. And a chance for much, much more with 3 left to play for.
Yeah, those are the sort of rounds that can change a match. They've been waiting for this peak almost every single time. It's an impossible angle for Kellogg's to check, and has worked out wonderfully in the openers.
Thank you so much for joining him.
Aggressive stance on B, and as I said, it has been a failure. Every time Mandatory have tried a really deep B push, they have died. They still keep going for it. The double back will now head in towards the A site, where they've definitely had a much tougher time. Hip setup and the retakes caused them quite a lot of issues.
Every time it has been a failure of the round, like you said, when they push up. This time, well, it is towards the A site. Twisted Minds were taking B. They were capitalizing on the space. Now they push into a site where there's no numbers. A nasty spam coming in from Enzo. Shock dart fired. Another attempt to delete a planter, and it's going to be the drone now sent through. A tag here could be deadly, but it wasn't found. Zand almost picking him off. It's Mikey that goes down, and Jesse from the rope has managed to bring this back to a 3v2 advantage for Twisted Minds, and caught reloading. Takas falls. The attack side back on the board. They burned through both of their pauses early on Abyss, but it seems like it was worth it as they course correct to what could be a 6-6 half.
I think
that was the dirty move.
Coaching staff was much more of a personal thing than a play style thing, because they're still doing those same holds, grouping up and then going for the execution, but you're just starting to see some of those players come back into the game. Jesse climbing up that board, and pressure beginning to be put onto Mandatory. They were 6-2 up in the lead, but his half is definitely not over just yet. Another aggressive push, and the Cypher setup switched to B. But this time it will be the full retake. However, that was the better of the setups, and we saw it play before.
He stuck it. Mikey straight into the spawn. They're clearing some of these angles behind that Cosmic Divide. When they walk on through, this could be dangerous. It all comes down to Sand and whether he can catch him off or not. Now he has the information, a free pick for him. But many players grouping up with Jesse down. They know where Sand is, looking to put the pressure on. Sand finds another, delaying this wrap around, but the spam catches him. It's nasty from Enzo. In a 2 versus 3, Twisted Minds have the spike, but the time has not been ticking. Not quite quick enough for them with Zemo. He's got one on the side, a foothold, and it's doubled down on. Hip left to do it all, and now it should be too far gone. Indeed it is. The save, the only remaining option. What a climb back from Twisted Minds. It felt like they were holding onto a cliff's edge by their fingernails, but they are pulling themselves up slowly but surely.
I think from a couple of the players it was a solid reaction. They get boxed in on the flank. Sand did fantastically well to hold on as long as he did. If he goes down without a fight, the round is over. But while he's doing that, Zemo is adjusting into position with Exit, who got aggressive. They knew they were flanked. They knew they were screwed from the back line, but they at least could hold on to some of that front line positioning. Stopped Hit from boxing them in completely. Good mid-rounding. And now a chance to level things up. A couple of rounds ago, before that pause, I had absolutely no belief we could find ourselves level at the half, but coming in with a Hunter's Fury, a decent buy, and the momentum in their sails.
Enemy tagged.
They come back as it.
My ult is
Have
ready.
to go through the whole defensive side without a timeout, but for Twisted Minds, looked like they would have needed a big comeback. Same old story from Lotus,
كده بتلاقي شوي.
This is a different chapter in this best of 3. 6-6 half will help them out. It looks like a new strat moving towards this A trip, breaking it and blitzing in, putting Hip under an enormous amount of pressure. He can be swung on very quickly here. Inside the smoke for now, as Hunter's Fury is going to be fired through from Enzo. It's into the choke point with a lot of players, but Hip is caught. The site is lost. Takas makes it costly for the other side.
Brought it back. Exit's still getting aggressive though. Takas has been caught a couple of times from this exact position, and in fact falls back. I don't know if he'll expect anybody to be this close, but he won't. Exit running back around, ultimate being thrown in, a chance to delay, but Kellogg's has done well. Mikey's found another, has gone back into a winnable position, but Mikey's so desperately low, the paranoia used instead to try and force players into his teammates. Twisted Minds desperately trying to clear him from the back, and while they focus on him, well, he's going to get a kill, and now Sand is all that's left. Even still, though, he's managed to turn this into a winnable position, waiting for the player on the other side, but Mikey wins all the fights. I don't know how he survives this round, but Mandatory will be glad he did.
Yeah, really nice TP from him to get the second, but he got baited in by Sand. Couldn't quite hit the shot, but ends up closing it out anyways with a lead for Mandatory. 1-0 up in map 7, 5 up in rounds, and a BO5 calling their name, but Twisted Minds aren't giving up just yet. Let's see if they can take us to map 3 after the break. Welcome back, folks. It's time to find out if this story ends on Abyss or if Twisted Minds can bring us all the way to Haven. This has been a close battle. A very different story to what we saw over on Lotus, where Twisted Minds looked down and out.
I feel like you say they're the least risk-taking players. That's what the stat was saying, but it's also hard to take the opening duel when you have Takas and Kellogg's on your team. Like, those guys are normally there first. I think you'd have to be running in. But this is the side where I think this composition shows why it's really valuable. That double duelist attack side dive is so difficult to deal with. I quite like this setup, though. A three-man layered defensive hold of mid. The rest of the players basically just looking for contact. But eventually, they've had to give up on it. And well, they're rotating the right way.
Well, that's a trip and a half. The backside cover that Takas might be running into. Mandatory looks set to take this site, but look how many are here from Twisted Minds. This is definitely the expected hit. Sentinel, utility, and 3 players. An initial shot hit onto Sand. They have no read on how many more are here. Hold on, maybe they do. Takas, he's managed to sniff out Exit, and he will send him out of the round eventually. But there's a bit of a tussle on the front of the side. Oh my God, delete the VOD. Jesse left to do it all. It could have been a bit more of a bite-sized situation, but he's got to take 2 players down, both 50 or lower. He has no idea where they go. Only 1 now.
Oh, a bit of a mistake. The 2 safe men were left, but now only 1! And Jesse from the top rope is going to take out him. An important clutch for Twisted Minds. They are most certainly back in this game.
Wow, what a round. This was Takas.
I wonder if we're getting a slow-mo.
Eventually gets the kill, but this, I wish I could just never see it again.
Who could have seen the slow-mo whiffs coming?
Oh, I think he put a hole in the hat. Certainly
I'm just glad we didn't have the other POV as well.
Yeah.
way!
Little remix. I think that might have been from the missed shots initially.
Yeah.
Not so much
I don't
from the
think
Jesse
that was.
kill.
Maybe they just really don't like Jesse.
Oh, not Jesse
He's my
winning
least
around,
far. I was gonna say he was bad.
Stop that.
Well,
Standing
from a
ahead.
6-2 lead, this is looking like a very different story. Twisted Minds have found their footing. Well, I would say almost exactly at the right time. The game was almost looking like it was gone. But some hero plays, some individual brilliance, and they should be level.
Well, a minute on the clock. Exit looks to get contact here. Still has his dash to get out. So he can stick around for quite a while, and that's going to be a danger for Mandatory, although it looks like a smoke has sent him backwards. A wise call, considering those pistols could just emerge for that smoke at any given moment. And the rotation is underway. But Sikri's coming to mid, and I think he's going to spot them on the crossover here. There's one already seen. Nice shot, too. And he can just tuck in now. That's the information on the rotate back. It looks like they're even going to
30 seconds left.
Reinforce mid for a moment. I like that. You see Sand coming to help him out, make sure he gets out safely. And then they can just go back into a site that they know is secure thanks to the Sentinel util.
Oh. Timer ticking.
10 seconds left.
Standing ahead.
It really is getting low. Any chance of a plant?
One enemy remains.
Seemingly dissipating. Oh, you know what? They got it. It's obviously for Twisted Minds, they're going to be happy. They keep that one nice and clean. The majority of orbs have also gone the way of Sikri, so that Hunter's Fury is getting devastatingly close to being online. Maybe not for the next round, but going into what will likely be their first proper buy. And now, okay, sure, there's only a Sheriff on him, but I wonder if he'll upgrade. If he does, he buys straight. Well, okay, he bought and then sold. We'll wait a second, but if he does come in with a rifle for this round, this buy definitely has some legs to it.
I mean, even without, I think for Twisted Minds, you know, we've seen from Mandatory a lot where they buy up to 4 weapons. Sorry, 5 weapons. Everyone's coming in armed to the team. Twisted Minds had that little bit of extra wiggle room, I suppose. Balance. They could have lost a player and not felt too bad about it, yet here they are. Not needing to invest very much, still being able to trade blow for blow, and then having a lot of credits stacked up on Sikri if they want that early operator.
What do you think of the attack side Odin in the first buy?
You know, it's good for spamming that B box. Give it that. But
okay.
It's not something that I've explored too much of.
Do you reckon it's almost solely for post plant?
I'd imagine so.
Like,
I mean,
just to be able to spam onto the spike once anybody tries to defuse.
I do think spamming backside B can be decently impactful, but yeah, you're going to definitely find it a lot harder to use on this map in general, and also on the attack side than you do on the defense. It's a curious investment, but I guess just speaks to the confidence. I'm not one to doubt Enzo.
I was about to say, it's called the Enzo Odin, not the Mitch Odin. So, we'll see.
Thanks for that, Tom.
Maybe he, you know, I've got to defend my boy.
What do you think of this, Mitch? Actually, I don't care. You're an idiot.
You know.
Thanks, man.
You're supposed to give me confidence in it, and you didn't. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Enzo can do that himself. Already into the site is Takas, but it is going to be the Odin to get the opener. A decent start, and they don't even know that Takas is here. He took the space, but just played as the snake in the grass.
Player standing.
Mikey, a safe pair of hands once again, and while we won't get to find out about the post plant.
Planted.
Unless Sand can pull off an incredible retake with a Spectre. Not a bad start.
Oh, very good start considering the weapon he had. And now an upgrade to a Bulldog. And Kellogg's has jumped off the map.
Yeah, he fell off the map.
I'm guessing TP'd and didn't realize it was falling. This is now looking very scary.
I think he just fell. I genuinely think he just fell. I thought I'd watched him just walk off the map.
Well, the one thing I can tell you for sure is that Andy's going to give us a replay of it.
I hope so.
Never misses an opportunity.
That goes there.
This is like where he's gone for coffee break real quick. It's like, wait, what happened?
He was too busy making a slow-mo, so I'm whipping a shot.
Yeah, as I said, phenomenal weapon. The Odin for the attack side. Love it. Never doubted it for a moment.
Yeah, he just steps off. He just steps off. I saw it in my peripheral, but you have to have that second guess of was that the fake out? Like, in my mind, it's like, yeah, okay, that must have been the decoy, and then I see him die in the kill feed.
A little bit. I've almost got the angle, just a little bit more. Oh, unlucky.
Well, mistakes happen, and that was a round where they would have been hoping to really build up the economy. Instead, immediate use of the convergence path, but it's a retake setup. A few trips to be found and exit. That's a great start.
A phenomenal opening. Will they catch the reveal that's just gone up towards the back of the side? They did as well, so denying any of those spams that could have come through and dealing with those players that have already dove in. Exit's not happy. He wants a bit more, and he gets it. He's going in for more again. And again, someone stop the man. He's not going to dash at them with an op. He's not going to do it. He has. He's going crazy out here. The shots aren't landing. But hell, he survived somehow. That was ludicrous.
I think that might be the greatest whiff montage I've ever seen. Like, just in the fact that everything looked like it was about to be cool, and then he doesn't hit any of the shots. But he definitely worked as a wonderful distraction for his teammates, who were able to swing it and take the fight afterwards. Nonetheless, he's not going to care. And we spoke about the confidence of a duelist. Kellogg's maybe having his knocked a little bit by falling off the map, and Exit definitely starting to build.
This goes here.
8 and 8 from 6-2 down. They've managed to respond and put the economy of Mandatory back to basics. It's Hip with a Cypher Stinger as the one non-pistol.
They've made it through, closed in the distance, but Sikri not going to be too caught off guard by that. The comps were good, and of course when you see double K just go up, the door is broken, you know exactly what's coming your way. All these weak weapons. That's not really what you want to see. Sikri got a little greedy for the info and found out the hard way. There's still players here. Neural Theft comes into play. Zemo now could be under threat. Look at them grouping up in the smoke. They want to push him down. They want to punish him. Seeing that he's isolated. Now they found another. He wasn't isolated, but Exit tagged up and forced back. Jesse falls with no trade. This is now looking very scary indeed, but Exit's always been reliable. He's a man to put up numbers. Maybe not with the operator in the last round, but usually safe pair of hands in these moments. He certainly needs to be, is getting up close against this Stinger's risky. Spike going back in the other direction. But Exit's so low, he's lucky to get out of there alive.
Yeah, he does as his name suggests, but
30 seconds
the fact
left.
is, Hip is just selling a ruse. He's trying to keep people on this side of the map. The unfortunate truth, though, for Mandatory is they didn't manage to get any of the guns. They killed 2 players, but the rifles still remain. The main thing that will play into their hand now is the time and Kellogg's position. If he can find something from here, and in fact, the whole team are playing aggressively. They have to use these weaker weapons well.
Those steps are heard. I like this. Twisted Mind's making the right call to group up together. Smoke goes to spawn. That should delay them. Kellogg's, he's going to be checked. Only half checked. Sand didn't see the left corner, and he'll be dropped as a result. That's a weapon to be retrieved in the post plant for Kellogg's. That could be deadly. They've already dealt with Mikey, though. Hip needs to survive on this site. He can be a real dagger in the back, and it looks like he will be. Diving into the smoke with a stinger, deadly combination and Mandatory. They find their round finally with a thrifty win. They'll keep the lead.
Yeah, that's going to be one that I think might haunt Twisted Minds if this map ends up slipping away from them. Just, I think a few players getting a little bit overzealous in fairly risky moments. And
I mean, even look at Sand there. Like, they intentionally move to group as 3, and then he steps out, not really fully clearing mid. Like, that can't really happen.
Pressure maybe getting to them, but actually it's Mandatory to take a timeout. And I don't think Twisted Minds will be too upset about that one. Give the coaches another chance to talk. Bear in mind they used both of their pauses within the first 8 rounds of this map, but if you look at the timeline when it comes back up, it was round 9, 10, and 11 that got them into this map, so they were worth using at that time. I'm not mad about it at all. But with mistakes like that and their tournament life on the line in this map, a victory here for Mandatory would send them into a grand final versus Ulf. A match which I genuinely think will be very, very close. The youngsters from Turkey definitely proving themselves. It'll be them versus the experience of Mandatory, and last Twisted Minds have got more to show. Now, economically, Mitch, they do. They're still buying this round.
Yep, they're able to invest. They're able to get the op on exit, which might be a debuff based on one of the previous rounds, but
he's great for taking space with it.
He is, yeah. He sets you as support op.
The support
That's what you love to
yeah.
see.
I think Adren did that in another game.
Well, a one-round gap for Twisted Minds, like we said earlier. It's fingertips on a ledge. A loss here sends Mandatory spiraling into the lead. To that attack side, ulti's online. Kellogg's and Enzo can combine to make this a very uncomfortable round for the defense. First of those already sent through. The gate crash closing distance. There's one spotted. Does Hunter's Fury get popped? Yes, it does. Now they know they're under pressure. Zan feels the danger and Kellogg's becomes it. The shorty takes him out. He thought he only had to dodge the Hunter's Fury, but it's Kellogg's. The dagger in the back again. The Twisted Minds on the back foot. They do have convergence path for the retake and the op to set up if they can push them offside.
But look at where the attackers are. They are playing so far back. They're trying to avoid that ultimate. They definitely know it's online. They're leaving potentially the one man who could avoid it. The spam. Does Exit? No, he's there. No, he's not. The patience. It takes real balls from Takas to sting that one out, and it will be enough to win the round. Confidence is key, and this man is king.
So we talk about trigger discipline. That's another level. Not even one shot fired back. No. He double bursted you with a shorty. And he stands his ground. What an absolute madman. That's the way they break the economy of Twisted Minds. I would be furious to be Exit, to be anyone on the defense there. Especially when you look at the damage done after the round.
Oh, yeah. You're going to just think if I just shot one more time, but why would you? The one rifle sent in early. Well, Takas is on the hunt. If the last round wasn't enough to prove that he was feeling pretty confident, I think you've now witnessed in this round that, yeah, he's having a good time. Demo nowhere near the action, and he's being hunted as well. Converges path online for Takas going into the next, and a few ults on the other side, but from what was starting to get dangerous, Mandatory have managed to streak 3 in a row and are just 2 away from finding themselves in that qualification match.
There.
Twisted Minds winning this BO3 last time around in a close matchup. Well, it's a completely different game unfolding in front of our eyes. Mandatory 3 rounds up. And this could well be the last stand of the defense, the last stand of Twisted Minds, not just in this series, not just in Ascension, but this year. Arguably the biggest game of these players' lives on that defensive side, and the pressure must be unlike anything they felt before. Takas lurking around that corner, and even if that all peeks into him, I'm backing him after the last couple of rounds. But the thing is, the rest of the team's coming to meet him, and they have no idea just how much space Exit's taken. They might drone, they might reveal, but it could be at the cost of a player's life that they find out this off is up aggressive, and it will be. Mikey down. They've lost their smokes. They've lost their from the shadows, but they've not lost the advantage as we're back to a 4v4.
Immediate usage to take space. Takas spots the info, but that also allows Hip to claim the space. He's just stayed up there, already making his way through mid, and Enzo, whoa, he's gonna try and get aggressive. Ends up plummeting. The double back around, Kellogg still looking to try and get up in their face. Both duelists have been a massive issue for this Twisted Mind sides, and if you get past one, the other normally appears. They're running in together. Hip around the corner, Kellogg with one more, and it really is just falling apart. Sikri, he still has time to play with, but he needs to be quick.
One enemy remaining.
They're gonna give him the fight though. That could be dangerous. Not knowing where Kellogg's is. Clock not low enough. The need to sprint, and he will manage to wipe them all out. Needs to get there fairly quick though.
It's going to be close.
Got this. It's going to be incredibly close. I don't think he has. It's going off in the end. A really nice attempt, but unfortunately just took that split second too long.
Oh, you have to feel for Twisted Minds. The round where Takas tanks 2 barrels of a shorty and ends up with 3 kills because of discipline, unlike anything I've seen before. And now 1 away. You don't need a flex to tell you that. 12-8. 4
Mike
chances.
is the only one who hasn't left his seat, by the way.
Yeah. He's comfortable.
Yeah.
He's comfortable.
Chilling.
4 chances to lock in their slot in the BO5 for some of these players. A chance to do almost the unthinkable, to ascend again. And for others, a chance to right the wrongs of history and find themselves back in VCT.
Oh, pressure already onto Sand. The supportive utility for Takas, and he's looking for this fight, the reload, and the other player is stuck in his util! Takas might have just closed it! Again, this man just takes liberties with aggression! And it is done and dusted, mandatory from losing 0-2 last time they played just a few days ago, have come back and 2-0'd them back!
قلت لكم هذول جايين انتقام.
All the way from the group of death. It looked like they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't make it anywhere near the tournament, and now they've made the run of dreams all the way to the finals. 1 best of 5 stands between these players and the dream of every player in Tier 2. Ascending to the ranks of VCT, to the best of the best in EMEA. And if they play like this, they've got a damn good shot.
Something that's been spoken about, I think, by almost every team is that level of family vibes. But when you watch this team, when they don't know, you could almost witness it. And I'm sure we'll get to see a little bit more from them in just a moment.
هل نلعب لعبة البلالين؟ أحس شوي صحصحت من هذا. خليكم معي شوي بس. والله قهر يا بس يعني الحمد لله حصل خير. ما اتوقع اني بلعب او اسوي اي شيء اليوم. انا اسفة، مرة تايرد، مرة مرهقة، مخي نايم، راسي نايم، جسمي نايم، كل شيء نايم. thank you guys for watching today. ان شاء الله نشوفكم يوم السبت، ان شاء الله يوم السبت ان كان امداني ابث. أنا في إعلان أبغى أعلن عنه، بس ما أبغى أعلن عنه بالطريقة التقليدية. طيب، وقاعدة أحاول أشتغل عليه، ولأن نومي معفوس وحالتي معفوسة، يعني يا بث يا ألعب يا فهمتوا، فبحاول إني أشتغل عليه شغلة صدقية هالويكند. سبت ليش؟ وشو سبت ليش؟ الخميس والجمعة أوف، ما أبث لا خميس ولا جمعة. يا والله أحس إني مرة مرهقة يا عبد الله. إن كاني قمت بدري الصباح، يعني بكرة إن كاني قمت ونومي زي الزفت زي المعتاد، يمكن أبث لكم بكرة الصبح. أوكي، بعدين تعرف عبد الله، بحاول أضبطه بحيث إنه يعني ينزل ويضبط وكذا يعني. السبت بعد مدرسة وش أسوي؟ راح أبكي عادي، ذاكري وأبى تشدي حيلك، والحمد لله الوضع تمام. بث صباح ان قدرت يا براء، يعني ما ابث بالعادة الصبح، لكن كان إن كان ذاك الوقت يعني الصبح عندي طويل وفاضي وكل شي. طبعا تسمعون صوت طقطقة وتحفير، عندنا براحة قاعدين يحفرون فيها، أنا مرة صدع براسي. يلا يا شباب لا تنسون تضيفون السوشيال ميديا. أنا مرة أعتذر، مرة أعتذر عن اليوم، لكن إن شاء الله نعوضكم بالبثوث القادمة إن شاء الله، ونشوفكم على خير، و good night، باي باي. نسحب على القضايا ونتابع اللعب. أي قضايا؟ ما فهمت براء، وشو؟ أي قضايا؟ أي لعب؟ أي بس شغلي قضايا؟ والله اني تعبانة يا برا، بروح ارقد خلاص ما عندي اقدر. يوم السبت ان شاء الله نشغل لكم قضايا ونقعد نشوف ناس معاقة وابد. ابشر. تصبحين على خير وانت من الخير. بسحب على شغلي انت مخك تعبان فعلا، والله فعلا، عشان كذا انا اقولكم انا احتاج اروح انام ما اقدر. يلا تصبحين على خير. جود نايت. يوم السبت اشرح لك تم. يلا باي باي. جود نايت.